Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream, and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy, edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello! Sorry I was a little late. Not too bad, right? Alright, the microphone's over there. Just a second. I'm doing too many things. Oh, it's kind of hard when it's right here. Ooh, sorry. Eek. Okay. Let me get my iron going too here. Hi. Is that better? Hi, Serena. Hi, Claire. Hello, Sutter. How's it going? I was recording a video before I started. I've been getting up earlier lately. I'm not sitting in bed anymore because of that back issue I had. I'm like, I'm not sitting in bed anymore. Hey, Donna. How's it going? Oh, I got the instructions out because I wanted to make sure I sewed the fly correctly. Usually I do like a little sample when I'm doing a button fly or a zipper fly. I'll sew it up really quick at the beginning of the stream just to practice, because everyone does it a little differently, you know? So I'm not too worried. Button flies are actually, I feel like, a little easier because you don't have to worry about sewing around all the zipper teeth. Hi, Ray. Nice to see you. Hey, Deborah. How's it going? All right, so let's recap. We're making the Dawn jeans, which is a non-stretch denim. I have the camera zoomed in a little bit. If you want me to zoom it out more, I can. And it comes in 3 leg styles. Hi, Hannah. How's it going? And the printed pattern goes up to size 20. And the PDF goes, I'm not sure what size it goes up to, but it goes, shoot, what was the waist and hip? There's more sizes in the PDF version on their website, just so you know that. And this comes in like a tapered leg, straight leg, and wide leg, cropped, and a short. So there's lots of versions. I'm just making the straight leg, or regular length. I like to be able to roll up my jeans, but I feel like cropped would be really cute in this mustard denim, you know? So, you know, so many options. Sydney posted in the Facebook group that LA Finch Fabrics has some of this on sale, this fabric. So we need the Mustard Jeans Club, right? So let's see. So far, we have assembled the backs, and I kind of just free-formed the pocket stitching really quickly, but it turned out really great. I love it. Of course, it went into my, I specifically tried to make sure it didn't go into the hems, and I still did because I was practically, yeah, just, you know, winging it. But it turned out fine. I'm fine with the hem stitching going through, you know, for that. I'm going to put this on my waistband, although it looks so cute back there, doesn't it? I'm just loving it sitting there. So we'll see. We got our fronts together. We have our fronts together with the pockets, and I'm using the fabric I designed. And then I made my design of a pocket stay, so it's just one layer of fabric that goes to the center front and kind of acts as a tummy panel. The other one has a coin pocket, so we've got those. In fact, we'll leave these out. So today we're going to do the button fly, the waistband. We're going to assemble them, hem them. Maybe I won't hem them today. And if there's time, we'll do hardware, which basically is rivets and buttons. We already did the buttonholes, so that's kind of cool. We did those at the end of the stream. They're right here. And then I'm going to shorten this as well. Hey, Barbara. Oh, nice. Are you taking a class? A quilt class? Hi, Terry. How's it going? You know what? I don't have my... Oh, are the alerts on? Let's make sure the alerts are on. They are. I do have the uptime going, but I think I'm off. I can't tell. Let's see. Oops, I just paused my stream. Dang. Oh my god, I just started my stream over again. Wow, okay. Not my stream, but the video, the playback video. That's really funny. I'm trying to see how long I've been live to see how far I'm off. 6:20. So yeah, I'm kind of off on that time there. 6:26 and 5:55. So I'm 30 seconds off from this time. Ugh, someday I'll get it. I've just been doing it. I'm just looking at it. Here you are, Mrs. Necro. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about finishing these today. One thing to note is this is a needle sharp box. Everything you need comes in this box, but I will say I added the ribbon, that little decorative piece of ribbon, and I'm not using the thread that they sent because I just wanted white thread. I love white on mustard, and so I didn't have white top stitch thread, so I'm just using 2 strands of regular thread. You can see I have them. This is my bobbin right here. This is my bobbin winder, but here's my spool, and then this spool right here is the 2 strands. And then I just threaded my machine normally. I did nothing different for the threading, but I did tighten up my tension a little bit, and I shortened my stitch length a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. On this machine, I just went 1 click. I think you should do that anyway when you're sewing denim together. I think it looks better, and it's stronger. You got, oh, really? Interesting. At least you got one. Most people don't. Oh, you're taking a class, Barbara. That sounds so nice. I like that. That sounds kind of just nice. Just take a class. All right, let's do it. So, I think I read through the instructions, and I think personally, I'm gonna overlock this edge right here, this up to the notch first. And that's just because I'm kind of uncomfortable with sewing this part down here after the button fly is all assembled, and being able to overlock it. So I'm just going to overlock it now, and that way that gets tucked. Even if I don't get a very good job, do a very good job up there, it'll be inside the, you know, button assembly button thing. So mustard and mayo. Ooh, I don't really like that comparison. I don't like mustard or mayo. They've been super hit or miss for you. Yeah, everyone says that. Everybody says that. Because I hear Andrea, her stream talks about it a lot too. That nobody's getting notifications. Which is kind of weird. I feel like, if anything, my phone wants to notify me of way too much. I don't think my serger's quite set up, but let's check it out. I didn't set up this camera. Let's see. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. Oh, I need to overlock. What is that? That is scrap. I need to overlock you and you. Oh, actually, let's do this. Adjust the colors. Yeah. All right. This is piece 8. I put these little things here so I would say it correctly. I'm just gonna sew across the bottom here and then finish this bottom here at 1/4 inch seam. I read that in the instructions. That's why I say that. The thing is, I kind of want my button fly to be much shorter. So maybe, I know that my opening is going to go to there. So if that's where the opening goes, why does this need to go so far down? You know what I mean? I think, I just don't feel confident in shortening it. Because you sew the, so it goes to the notch and then, yeah. So this is a pretty long rise. I do need the up to the notch here to be able to get them on and off. Oh, that's funny. My notch doesn't match anymore. Oh, because I shortened my, that's right. I shortened my pants, my front pants. So let's shorten my flies to match. I forgot I did that. My husband loves mayo. He puts it on his French fries. Kind of psycho does that. I'm just teasing. Just teasing. I know there's a lot of Germans here. Hi, Sharon. How's it going? Yeah, Terry, I did get it. I'm going to set up the serger today, but I'm pretty interested in doing it. You signed up for Megan Nielsen's? Yeah, exactly. Now we're talking, Elizabeth. Now we are talking. Lemon curd and whipped cream. I don't know what it is about this color combo I love. The other one I really like is lime green. Like that really bright, light, pale lime green color with white as well, or cream. All right, I'm going to match this notch up to the pant here and trim off the excess at the top. So we were trying to shorten this fly because we've all been kind of having concerns about how long it looks in pictures. But I have to say, I really can't shorten it. I need it to get on. So I need this not up to this notch to be able to get them on and off. Let me talk in complete sentences. That might help all of us, right? Where's my, there it is. So this one, let's see here. This one I think I'm gonna shorten from the bottom because I already have my buttonholes in it. You know? It also doesn't look like it needs as much shortening, and that's probably because of the interfacing. So I'm gonna trim this off like this. All right. So let's now, so I sewed and turned the fly extension piece, which was piece 8, and we're gonna smooth out that little curve there, iron it. Not sure if we top stitch it. I'll look in the instructions. But now I'm gonna overlock these two edges together. I'm gonna re-overlock this little curve here on piece 9, and then I'm gonna overlock piece 7 here along the curve and along the center front rise there. Let's see, put my pins away. Ooh. Hi Ursula, how's it going? You're a spicy brown mustard. Hi Tatiana, how's it going? Welcome. Mango cat. This, you guys, I'm already hungry. Stop it. Oh yeah. Gosh, you know, we're getting our chicken coop back next week on Tuesday. So I'm nervous to bring chickens to our place. I've raised hundreds of chickens, and I'm a little nervous because of the predators. Because, you know, it's kind of like you're tempting the predators. So I set up this new arm above to do the serging today. I'm not sure how we feel about that, but oh, the autofocus is on. How rude. What crazy person does autofocus? I'm sorry, I probably just insulted somebody and they're never gonna watch me again. But I can't handle it. brighten it a little bit. And we'll zoom it in. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I did get a buttonhole attachment for my industrial machine. Adina said it worked. Harry's using one. And so basically it's going to move side to side and make my machine trick it into doing zigzag. So I can have buttonholes on my industrial. So we'll see. I'm tempted, you know. All right, so I'm just going to overlock around the curved edge here. Here, and I'm going to do along the center front rise. You see I pull really hard to get around those curves. Just gonna continue this little curve here, fix it. And I'm gonna go down this center front of this here. Probably could have ironed that first. And let's see, I need to do the center front of this P7. I don't really need the tape to be immortalized. All right, so that's 7, 8, 9. 7, 8, 9. And then we're gonna do the center front rise here. I'm just gonna do the whole thing on both sides. You don't really need to because it does get kind of finished in, but it's easier to do this curve if you do the whole thing. I have a tickle already. Great. Definitely. My mom loves lemon curd, lemon tarts, things like that. I will say there was this really amazing lemon bar recipe in Cooks Illustrated once. It's really good. Let's cut all these little threads off here. Tried to get this one kind of lined up. I didn't do too good there, did I? I thought I did better than that, though. That I'm not a fan of that. These are gonna all get included. Let's just get rid of it. Maybe I'll trim my buttonhole threads here. I ended up just using regular thread for my buttonholes. There were quite a few tips on using thicker thread. I wasn't having any luck with it. I wanted to do the keyhole buttonhole, and that wasn't working out either. That buttonhole's never been very easy to do on my machine. I've never had luck with it, to be honest. And I never really needed it bad enough that I really wanted to work it out. So, okay. Let's get rid of all this. We have our 3 pieces here. We have our fronts. This thread is so thick. But when do you have yellow serger thread? I'm just so lucky. This was such a popular color. It was called mango at this place I worked. And in fact, everybody started calling it mango. They had it in their line. It was dry suits for kayakers and things, and mango and cobalt was their most like iconic color combination. I'm sure mango is still in the line. And people kind of were like, whoa, that is kind of a combo. But the thing is, it was high visibility, which is great because if you need like rescue or whatever, it's just good to be able to be seen in the water and as a kayaker. And then people started, like years, took them years, they started using it too. And some of them started calling it mango as well. It's pretty funny. All right. So we're going to start with, so you should have your buttonholes on and all your little edges finished here. And I do find finishing this little curve right here to be a little easier for the later step. From what I remember, you don't have to do it. You can do it the way they have you do it too. So let's see here. We have, did I do my buttonholes on the wrong side? Ooh, did I? I may have. Did I do them on this side or this side? Oh, this is the side. I did them okay. I was like, look at how much those show up. Oh, that sounds really good. That does sound kind of delightful. A green pair, hi Michelle, with agave pockets. We know how I feel about agave right now though, right? It's kind of how I feel about mayo. I was doing yard work the other day, and even by the end of it, I had some weird little thing on my neck and something else. And I think I'm just really susceptible to that stuff. So I'm trying to be careful. I don't want it to become an issue. All right. So on the right front, this one here with the coin pocket, we're going to attach piece 8, which is this fly extension. And it's the one we folded in half. I sewed along the bottom here, and we're just going to lay it on here. Let's see, I think it is just a 5/8 inch seam. Oh, maybe not. Let's see. This place on the right side, line of the pants, line up the finished edges, and the front card, ensure that's pinned in place, and sew a 1/4 inch from the edge. Clip into the seam allowance just below the fly extension by a 1/4 inch. Okay. All right, so we're going to sew this together with the 1/4 inch. I'm going to do it the width of my serger thread, which is kind of a fat 1/4 inch right now. I don't want any of these serger threads to show on the right side, and they could, but if you didn't finish it, you're in better shape than I am. Let's see, any of my serger, this would be a really bad spot for your serger threads to be peeking through, right? Okay, so we're going to top stitch this opening right now, and we're going to do it on the pant. And one thing that, I'm pretty sure it's this one that they note, yeah, they note, you don't want to do a back stitch down here. You can if you want, but if you don't, then you can pull the threads to the back and it'll look a little cleaner. And I'm going to clip this right now. So just clip at that seam allowance that we just sewed so that this is laying flat right here, the front rise. All right, and now we're going to push the seam allowances towards the body of the pant, and we're going to top stitch it down, or edge stitch it. Let me get it on there a little better. There we go. This is a little thick, but it's not too bad. So I'll show you what they mean by this. So pull your work out without clipping and give yourself a nice long tail. And then from the wrong side, give your bobbin thread kind of a tug like this, and it'll pull your threads to the back. Sometimes I do this with top stitching. You've seen me do this with top stitching so that the back stitch doesn't show on the right side, and it's kind of cool. And then tie it in a knot. Hi Corey, happy Saturday. Yeah, Sydney showed that there was a burnt orange color by LA Finch as well. There we go, and so there's no back stitch right there. All right, so that is your right front. And now we're on your left front. And we're gonna get our other two pieces here. And number 7 is the one that's one layer here, right? We're gonna put this right side up, right sides together, 5/8 inch seam, clip into the seam allowance, turn, press, top stitch. Okay, same idea. Punk frockers. Punk frockers. Here, I know. Someone else asked as well. I'll put a link in chat. It's real. I was literally laughing out loud today when I was driving up here because here you go, punkfrockers.com. Like I said, they're just so casual and conversational, but it's good. It's really good. I really like it. Jenny or Joe, I'm not sure what she goes by. I should ask her. She said, you know, you're going to make me start, like, I based it on this project, and I think you're having a good influence on me. She was telling this to Beverly. Beverly Baptiste, I think is her name, the co-hostess. And she's like, well, I'm usually a bad influence. I can't believe this is the thing I'm, doing. It was just really funny because I feel that way too. Like, you guys have had a good influence on me because I was so much more cavalier in my sewing before I started streaming. And then I thought, oh, God, I gotta be a good example. So totally laughed out loud. All right. So we're going to sew this at a 5/8 inch seam. I want to start from the top because then I know I can get that lined up there. But honestly, it's a little awkward. I will just start from the bottom. And we're going to do this whole piece here. Big pants, man. Big pants. See, it wants to creep. And that's what it did. It creeped a little bit. Because my pressure's probably... Well, my pressure actually isn't very tight right now. Yeah, punk frockers. They're kind of new. So there's not a whole lot of episodes to catch up on right now. Yeah, me too, Mrs. Necro. It's a lot of stuff to keep up on. I do find, like, right now they're pretty easy because there's not very many, which is great. You know? All right, so this time we're going to press this to the inside. I'm going to iron this probably. The denim's lightweight enough. It's pretty thick, but it's lightweight enough that I can iron this. So let's iron it. Yeah, you weren't the only one, Beverly. Yeah, and they have kind of an 80s punk little riff at the very beginning of the intro. Right now, I'm a little behind, so I might be wrong, but they're doing this PF drafty challenge, so they're encouraging people to draft their own patterns. So I'm all about that. Oh, I'm off camera. Sorry. There we go. You guys are probably screaming at me. Let's just move these things out of the way here. It's just so much more pleasurable when you give yourself space to do what you're trying to do, isn't it? We're going to clip this seam allowance as well. So make sure when you press this and you stitch it down that you can actually see a bit of the pant on the inside so that you don't accidentally let this creep to the right side. Just do it a little bit. Yep. Okay. So I just cut into my seam allowance there and do a tiny bit more. So now see that's laying flat. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to try and do this from the top down. And then that way I can do the same thing where I'm going to not backstitch when I get to the bottom, but pull the threads to the back. They say you do this at about 1/16 of an inch. What I love about doing these steps here, the top stitching, is that it feels a little bit like magic when you're all done and you see your stitching disappearing into the seam. I think that's one of the best parts about doing a zipper fly or a fly. So now remember, you pull on your bobbin thread a little bit, and then those top threads will pull to the front. Now when I'm doing a lot of top stitching and I do that, if I've accidentally stitched through the like stitches from another seam, it's pretty hard to pull them to the back, so you gotta be kind of strategic when you're sewing those. Sutter, oh, I love that. I mean, it does have a coin pocket, you know. Here's our little coin pocket. That's where our pennies go. And if it's a good pocket, it gets an allowance. The stitching's kind of bugging me. There were people like on that Instagram post saying, oh, your top stitching is so even and beautiful. And I was like, you weren't in the stream. I can tell. It's not even and beautiful. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay by me. That's all that matters, right? Okay, let's see here. So now we're at this point here. This is what we have, right? There's that little jog there. This next step is the way they word that's a little confusing. It says turn the front left leg around so that the fly is facing out. And I think what that means is you're looking at the wrong side of your pant like this. I don't like saying turn around or facing out because those mean different things. So basically flip your pant so that the wrong side is facing up. And now you're going to put your buttonhole placket on here just like this. Line it up there. And remember, I think, you know, you want this to kind of be hidden a little bit. You don't want it to show from the right side. So make sure that you line it up with this edge here, and if anything, a little skint of that, you know. It's just like that. And then if you want, you can baste these two together with maybe a contrast thread so it's really easy to remove later. All right. And now we're going to top stitch, do our double needle top stitch thing. I'm just going to, well, maybe I could use a few clips. What's an idea? No, I don't want to use clips. That won't work. I don't really have a contrast thread for basting, so. Hello, Rinsky. Welcome. Oh, you commented on one of my videos. Thanks for subscribing. Maybe it's Renska. All right. So now we're going to sew it on the right side, and we're going to do that classic fly stitching. I don't like pinning it like this. I'm going to do it the way I like to do it, like this. Let's get rid of these ugly threads here. Make sure we don't immortalize those. What is this? Oh, that's my stay stitch. I'm like, what is that? Okay. And I don't see my fly. I think we're okay there. Now, if you want to, you know, give yourself a little chalk line or something, I recommend that. That's always a really great idea. And you don't have to worry about avoiding your zipper teeth for something like this. So, hi, Libby. Oh, wow. Whew. I bet you found mustard and mayo in there for sure. Mrs. Necro, I want to say the Dawn jeans are in that 125 box range. Let's look it up. Let's see if it's there. I don't mind you asking at all. Let's see. You got to make sure you write needle sharp subscription box. Otherwise you get something entirely different. Her search thing says, find what you seek. I just searched on jeans. Yeah, so here is the, she has it just as a standalone. Oh, it's 90. I'm sorry, I was $35 different. I'm so glad I looked that up. And so she has it in mustard yellow and then this indigo here. So she has the one I have here. I don't see, where's the picture of the mustard? Oh, here it is. So this is one I've got right here. And then she has it in this fabric as well. So 90. I'm not trying to sell her kits or anything. Yeah, and you can just purchase the box without subscribing. That's how I did that one. Hi, Sherbet Lollipop. It's hard for me to say your name. I have a funny story about something similar, Libby. It was kind of crazy. Let's see. Where am I? There I am. Yeah, so you don't have to subscribe. I actually think when you sign up, it puts you in her subscription thing as far as like you might now get a little email. I can't guarantee this is going to happen because I have been a subscriber. I did it for a whole year. And, oh, I don't know, Mrs. Necro. Let's see. Let's see. I can't tell. I don't think so. That's a good question, though. I wonder if you could ask her about removing a little part of it for the pattern and then buying the PDF yourself. Good question. Or she may have it. But since I was a subscriber once, I think it reminded it, oh, you've already got an account, you've been a subscriber, but I only bought that one box, and now I get a month, every month I get a thing says your subscription has changed, your current box is deleted, and it just means that I'm not on the subscription box program. That's funny. Okay, let's get to this here. So we have the fly here, and so if you want to put a chalk line here, make yourself a little template. You could even take this piece and, lay it on top, right? Just like this. And give yourself a little stitching line. You could do that. I never do that, do I? I just wing it, usually. I need pins. Where are my pins? So one time I was staying with my friend, and it was one of those things where I was relocating kind of far away. And so I needed a place to stay in between when I moved out of my apartment and my flight. And so I just needed to live there for like 2 weeks. And my friend had gotten a house sitting position with, I think it was the pastor or reverend or someone like that in her church. And they were going on a year-long or 2-year-long mission somewhere to another country. And so they let someone stay in their house. And my friend was the person that got to stay in their house. And so it was a great opportunity for her to live somewhere like down in Pasadena before she found a place and be close to work. And it was, it was free. But oh my gosh, you guys. They walked out. It was like they evaporated, these people. They didn't do anything to the house to make space for her to live. And they had lived there a long time and raised lots of kids, and the house was super full. Every nook and cranny. There was so much furniture and every drawer, cubby, and thing filled, right? That's fine. That's fine. That's their home, right? I love a cozy home like that because it feels so like loved, well lived in and loved. But she had no closet space. And they wanted her to stay in the master bedroom, which I thought was weird. And they didn't clean out the fridge or the cupboards, any of that stuff. And so when I was there, because I was waiting like this weird, awkward 2-week time before I was moving, I couldn't take it anymore. There was no room for she and I to put anything in, like anything in the fridge, you guys. Nothing. There were 2 fruit cakes. I moved there in May. There were 2 fruit cakes from Christmas. There were jars of maraschino cherries in green and red. And there were Tupperware containers filled with leftovers from their dinner in there. It's like they didn't know they were going somewhere. It literally was like these people evaporated from one day to the next. The garage was filled, everything. And so I had a friend visiting me, and he was like, what is going on in this house? I'm like, I don't know. And so one day he and I cleaned out the cupboards and the fridge. And my friend was I didn't know, she was like, well, maybe they'll miss that. I'm like, Christina, there's no nutrition facts on this food. That's how old these jars are. And if they're gone for a year, like, they're not going to miss some of it. We're doing them a favor, you know. I saved everything I could. We filled a recycling bin full of containers and stuff. It was nuts. And when she got home and she saw the fridge, she was like, oh, this is so great, because she could buy produce and everything. It was crazy. Crazy stuff. I was like, wow, I don't know what happened to these people. I would never do that. Okay, I'm going for it. So I'm just, wait, is that where I want to stitch? No, I'm going to stitch. This one thing I usually do to myself by accident is I don't allow myself room to do 2 rows of stitching. And I want to decide right now, do I want 2 rows of stitching that are parallel? I don't know if I do, but I'm going to look at this right now and see. Spices don't expire. Well, they don't, I guess, but they don't taste like anything after a while, you know. Yeah, they teleport. When we moved into our last house in Humboldt, there was this weird little cupboard in the garage built into the studs. Like, you know, it was like how you see the exposed studs in your garage. They had made it a little tiny spice jar depth cabinet, and there was food in there from the 70s. And we just left it there. We thought it was really funny. All right, so if I go here, wait, I need to go that way. All right, I was trying to give myself, I never spend this much time planning this out. Watch, it's going to come out terrible now. Oh. Right, Mrs. Necro? Right, that's it. I was just like, dude, we're rescuing these people's stuff. There was meat in there. There were several containers with leftover, like, meatloaf or beef brisket or something like that. And I was just like, this is a hard pass for me. I don't want any of my food in here, you know? It was nuts. I'll never forget that. It was definitely one of the times that I was like, do we have to recycle? Can't we just throw it away? I was lucky my friend was visiting, because he was like, oh no, we'll just do it. And I was like, okay, are you going to clean all these things out? Because this is a lot of cleaning. I feel like I'm barely on my fly. Get these little threads going that way. I think she says not to backstitch here. I think what I'm going to do... Oh, she just goes into the seam allowance. Right? I'm going to just turn around and go back up. Like this. Well, it's not very rounded, is it? Yeah. I I don't think I've ever gone up from the bottom to the top of the fly. That felt really weird. It's okay. I can probably hide this by putting a bar tack right there. You know? Okay, there's our button fly. Hi, Sydney. Parental units. Can you feel better about your dad's fridge now? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what happens with us with condiments, and our daughter always keeping us on track. She's like, this ranch dressing expired in September. And I'm like, but it tastes fine. I don't eat ranch dressing, so I don't know. What's your stitch length? Well, the funny thing is about this is that there's no, I mean, I guess this dot in the machine is the spot. I'll show you a picture. That's my stitch length. That help? Okay, so let's see where we're at. Let me pay attention so I don't do someone astray here. Remove your basting stitches if that's what you did for, you know, to keep these edges together there. Or like to keep them so that they didn't shift or anything. Come for the sewing, stay for the stories. Some people don't though. Some people are like, Oh, I don't have the, we love seeing the viewers here. Which one's that? This one here. There it is. Now 46 people know about. Hopefully those folks aren't watching right now and they're like, that was our house. You know? 2.7. Yeah, I would say that circle is like, oh yeah, that is a quarter mark. Yeah, 2.75. Hi, Derek. Wet and chilly. You're late. Been sewing a waistcoat. Gosh. How can we even be mad at you? You're sewing. 2.5 millimeter. Maybe 2 3/4. Yeah. All right. I'm sorry. This is such a quick thing to sew. I'm sorry. I'm really dragging it out. Yeah, I think we just sew these together now. I'm just making sure that you don't get an extra step here that I'm not doing, and then you're like, wait, she didn't do that. Yep, okay. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're good. So we're now going to attach the rises together here. We're going to sew it at the 5/8 inch seam allowance. Let's see how they look here. That is like, looks very far away, doesn't it? I'm trusting. It's all gonna be okay. So I'm sewing at that clip mark 5/8 inch seam down the remaining rise here. And then when I open it up, it's gonna all magically hide that big old gap there. It's not magically hiding my threads here though. Let's get these kind of tame. I was just way too cavalier when I clipped my serger threads, wasn't I? I forget that my serger just does not want to. I want to like glue that right there. There we go. And so now we're going to top stitch the center front rise, and this is when everything kind of falls into place, because what you're now doing is this little gap right here that's kind of messy, you're going to top stitch up the rise and a little past that, and you're going to kind of seal the deal there. So, Nello, is Nancy here? Oh, she is. We know when she's here. Hit the like button. So I'm just going to try not to clip these anymore and get these a little bit more secure. and pulled into, or actually I can clip this one. It's secure. This one I'm going to leave loose and I'm going to tuck in there like this. And now I'm going to go up my rise here and along this edge here. You can go up a bit. Like my buttonhole is pretty high up, my bottom one. I have space here. So I'm going to go up a little bit into the fly, across and down. And that'll give an optical illusion with the kind of this curve being off right here. I think that'll help correct it on the eye. This is getting pretty thick through here too, so be careful. So let's line this up straight and parallel so we don't get any puckering. Ooh, this is pretty thick, to be honest. I'm gonna be careful here because of my double thread experiment that I've got going on here. I don't want to clip one. That would be kind of a bummer, you know? If one broke, I'd have this weird broken thread in a weird spot, you know? Oops. I'm trying to, here it is. I'm trying to get my leg that way. How far do I want to go? This is probably good right here. And now I'm going to go across. I'm still walking to be sure. I think that looks like the same width I've been doing. It's a little bit shy. Let's do a little bit more. Maybe not quite a whole stitch. Okay. Pivot, and then we're going to come down. Don't have to worry about any zipper teeth. That's kind of nice, you know. This gets a little thick right here because we have the seam allowance of the fly extension because we sewed it and turned it up. Remember? Home free. All right. Let's put a little bar tack over here. Where do we want that? Maybe like right here. The bar tack just kind of holds this fly extension from being kind of floppy on the inside of your garment. Make sure that this is all nice and straight and parallel right here. And when you're doing a zipper fly, it's basted shut, which kind of helps keep it on track like that. And you don't get that option with the button fly. Granted, the button fly is easier because you're kind of just laying everything down flat and then stitching it where you want it. So don't do it like this, you know? You don't want it to do that. I have this ridge of my machine and my table, so it kind of, when I have to do something like this, it kind of pushes it off. There we go. And so I'm going to try and hide this other little weird spot of my curve there by doing a bar tack. Right? No one will ever know. It's a fake bar tack. There we go. There's our button fly. Mrs. Necro, you can hide the chat. Yeah, I turn off the chat when I'm watching or listening to music. Okay, there we go. Maybe I overcorrected a little too much for my bar tack, but I could go like across or maybe make it wider right there. What do we think? Zigzag would have been a true bar tack. Maybe I can just pull out the starting stitch and it'll look a little straighter. Right there. I'm not a fan of really eye-catching things here because it's kind of weird when you have contrast stitching. Like sometimes there's like a red bar tack in the middle of nowhere right there. It makes you look at that, like, and then you're looking at someone's crotch, you know? Yeah, there you go, Mrs. Necro. You can just hand sew some as well. Maybe I could do like a little box here, or triangle, something, and that would kind of give the illusion that my curve is not curved right there. Maybe I do, it's just this one little tail. It's probably not even obvious to you guys. I can't grab it. Oh, I know, maybe I could pull it from this side, like this. Let's see. I do have a little thread here. Tighten it up a little bit. And see how that bar tack caught this extension? Kind of just makes it behave. There we go. That's pretty good. All right, so let's assemble our jeans together now. Wait, what is that? What is that? How dare you? How did we not notice that? Didn't we go, we went up and then we went down. Oh, bugger, I'm taking that out right now. We don't want to tuck right there. We don't want to give the pants camel toe before they're even being worn. Apparently, I was too giddy being on my home stretch. This is why you don't backstitch your top stitching, people. It's just going into the seam allowance anyway, and that made it way easier to remove, right? Let's see if I can make it seamless. No one should be looking that closely, all right? Okay, here we go. Let's get one more stitch here. And then let's, where is it? Is it right here? It's hard to see because it's a single white thread on the bobbin. I'm going to give it a good tug. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take out a few more. Which one is it? Is it this one right here? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Let's take out a few, and then that way we can just hand tie it off. And no one will ever know. Except you guys. But you have my back, right? I need enough to be able to tie it. I don't want to go all the way to the top either. All right, and let's pull it to the back here. Good tug. Don't break, thank you. There we go. Now let's just tie it off. This is one thing that I might leave a long tail and maybe secure a little better because that's a high friction area and I wouldn't want that not to come undone and then my top stitching to come undone right there. So I'll just leave that long tail and kind of fiddle with it later. This way I at least bought myself some time and I can get my top stitching better here. And let's leave a long tail here too. I don't generally have a bobbin tail, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit and see if that works. Or I could start from the bottom. That's what I'll do. Then I don't have to worry about that. And then leave myself a tail at the end. Here we go. It'll be easier to see too. Let's make sure we don't get tucks this time. No self-induced camel toes. They can keep their toes. There we go. There we go. Almost perfect. I don't backstitch in the seam allowance, no, because what my problem with that is, well, I think it probably comes from my roots of having to be efficient in sewing. So doing a backstitch is a waste of thread and a motion, like like physically the motion of doing it, right? So the other thing is this is going to be in the seam allowance, right? So really the seam's way up here, and unless you're really worried about it, you don't need to secure those threads. It's a pretty wide seam allowance. It's even going to get top stitched once it's sewn. The other thing is I used to sew a lot of things with really narrow seam allowances, like 1/4 inch. And what I found is, say I stitched this and I back stitched, and my back stitch was a little longer than the width of the seam allowance, and so you'd see this little extra back stitch poking out of the seam. It's distracting and it looks kind of messy. I like this top stitching to disappear into the seam, so that's why. Plus, it does make it a little more of an incentive to fix something if you don't have to dig out your back stitch. The only time I back stitch, well, not the only time, but primarily I do when you're putting a seam together. And even some seams I don't, like on a bag I don't. But on pants I'm going to, I back stitched here, They're jeans. I'm not going to take a risk in the crotch of my jeans, Let's get rid of all this thread here now that we're looking at this. That's what I do. You can back stitch. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just something that I have found isn't necessary. All these up here, none of that's back stitched. But then, it's going to be all caught in the seam there, None of this top stitching is back stitched. It's just top stitching. It's not functional as far as like the integrity of the jeans. Well, I guess there's an argument to be made that it is, but I think you know what I mean. All right, so let's put our pants together. And let's do the rise first because we want to top stitch the rise. And it's really hard to do the entire rise top stitching if you do it last. Yeah, that's just one of my little things. I don't even notice that I don't do that until I started streaming. I really started noticing that I don't backstitch. It's just something I learned. It would cause a problem for us later on. Where's my knee notch? Please tell me I put it in here. I put it on the front. What the heck? I'm going to look at my side seam now. There's usually a little bit of easing between the knee notches on jeans. So that's what I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to see. I know I didn't cut these the same length as each other, which is... Oh, yeah, I did, actually. Do I really need to ease that much? Oh, okay. Let's see. So if I do that right there, if that's the knee notch. Hey, Ray, thank you. Nice, I'm glad. Yeah, you rarely backstitch either, Serena. And why is that? Do you know why you started doing that? Like, was it just something you found made it better for what you like to sew? Right now, I'm pinning between my knee notches because I want to see, can I really ease all that in there? Yep, I can. No problem. So you see that? So between the rise here, remember my seams are offset, so the thickness, and the knee, you see that the back is usually a little bit bigger and you ease it in. That's normal. Okay, so I'm going to sew this with a 5/8 inch seam. I'm going to serge it afterward, and then we're going to top stitch it. I'm not doing any flat felled seams today. Sorry, I didn't plan on that. And I have done that before. If you need that, I'm trying to remember if it was it the Ash jeans by any chance? Nope, not the Ash jeans. I'm wearing those right now. I'm trying to remember what we did those on. Maybe the Jutlands. I think I need to relax my pressure. It's pushing my top layer. It doesn't help that the fabric is kind of nubbly. So it's making it press even worse. Yeah, right, Penny? Hi, Penny. The one thing with quilting, though, is that when you're opening up those seams and pressing them, then you have the risk of them pulling apart. But I think quilters use a smaller stitch length than I do, and I forget to change it probably. And I feel like that's very common because seam allowances on quilts is pretty narrow. So I'm a little more cautious about it there, but That is a perfect example of a place you don't want to your back stitch to creep into the block that you're sewing, right? You wouldn't want to see a back stitch from the seam. That would look pretty bad, you know? So I'm just easing in this area. It's not hard because it's kind of a stretchy little area. This kind of makes the seat sit better, and it prevents torquing in your jeans. Oh, right, Serena? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that that's pretty common. You got to remember, a lot of sewists that learn to sew in a factory, because a lot of sewists do, a lot of people who work in factories never sewed before. They don't come going, oh, I used to make all my own clothes. They train them to just sew a step, and they don't really need to know garment construction, you know. So they are plopped down in front of a machine, and they sew one thing over and over all day long, and they get really good at it. But when they go home and their friends are like, oh, you're working at that sewing factory? Will you hem my jeans? They're like, I don't know how to do that, you know? They're learning a skill, and it's usually a step. And then once they get more skills under their belt, then they kind of start moving around the factory. Let's overlock these. Yeah, and a lot of them don't even know why they do some of the things they do because they weren't trained in the same way we were as home sewists. So remember when we talked about putting offsetting, you know, so like let's look at our fronts here and see I pressed my seam allowance this way and top stitched it. And when we're looking at it this way, right, the seam allowance is pressed to the right and top stitched. And we did the exact same thing on the back. Pressed to the right and top stitched. That way, when we do it that way, the seams are offset at the crotch and then it reduces the bulk there. I'm going to trim a little bit off and just kind of make my seam allowance a little smaller. You want this to be, you know, kind of a smooth transition here, but you do have a point. Oops, where'd my pedal go? There we go. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Our inseam. Yep, exactly. Oh, yeah. I bet, yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. There's so many ways to do it, right? Okay, so we're going to push this seam towards the front, and I'm just going to do a single row of top stitching. They're getting kind of unwieldy. I'll put it up there for a few seconds. I'm getting kind of used to the texture of this denim, even though it's kind of, it looks very textured on camera too. Do you guys think I should have made the cropped version? Don't they look big? They look very wide. I'm like, I remember picking my front and my back and they weren't the wide leg. But now I'm having doubts because I think I only picked that one time and then I started using them. I feel like it looks wide leg. I won't be too bummed if they're wide leg. I'm hoping they're not. They weren't when I was trying them on, so. Right here you're at these junctures, but they're not too bad. They're easier than the button fly was. I haven't checked my bobbin in a while. Hopefully we're good on the bobbin. Alright. I love the white on the yellow. Well, I forgot to wish you guys a happy Me Made May. Yeah, I think so too, Elizabeth. I think it's honestly just a bulk thing and tradition. Yeah, I think it's just more comfortable. You can put it to the back if you want. Maybe next time you sew a pair, see how it feels. I should look in the instructions, see what they say. Let's see what she says. Let's see, where are we at? We kind of did these in a different order. We're way back here now. Yeah, press them towards the front of the garment. She has a couple of rows. Maybe I should do 2 rows. Let's do 2 rows. I do like that seam to be as flat as possible. Oh, okay, Malin. All right. They do look like it in the picture, and when Barbara did her muslin, she cut out the shorts, and she's like, oh, the shorts are based on the wide leg. So it was a pretty open leg. I trimmed my seam allowance down, so I gotta be a little careful about my width. It was a long seam. So when you go to top stitch the side seam, you don't have to go all the way down. You can if you are adventurous enough. It'd be probably a lot easier on a wide leg version, but you only have to go down to the depth of your pocket is the traditional, but you can do whatever you want. And maybe you, oh, I'm running out of bobbin, I think. Do you guys hear it? It sounds different right now. Come on, make it to the end. Whew, good job, Phoenix. Let's check. Maybe it just sounds funny. Oh yeah, we have plenty of bobbin. All right, I was just paranoid. It's probably the 2 threads in there. Okay, so now we're gonna put our side seams together. Oh boy. Where are they? Okay. Are you Allison? Have I said hi to you today? Flat felled usually. Flat felled is a little easier with the bulkier fabrics. Have you ever done a flat felled seam? They're kind of fun. It's almost like you're hemming your seam allowance. So, you know, you would sew it right sides together, and then you're going to trim one down. Trim one of your seam allowances pretty far down, and then you would take this other one, so if this one was trimmed, you're going to take this other seam and fold it over it and hem it down and stitch it. So basically, yeah, you have your seam and then you hem the seam allowance over it just like that. It's not hard. It's a little bulky. And you just need to have the right seam allowances so you have enough room. Like a 1/2 inch is, you can get away with a 1/2 inch for French seams, but it's pretty hard to get away with a 1/2 inch seam allowance for flat felled. You want like 5/8 and 3/4 inch seam allowances. You've been lurking. All right. Oh, the tape measure border print ones are wide legged. Those are kind of a drapey fabric, right? They're pretty cute. I just noticed all that thread that was in there. I just want to make sure it looks better than that. So, all right, let's do the side seam. Side seams should just match. I don't think you'll have any easing that you need to do. Let's make sure all your threads are in the seam allowance. Okay, I want to get to my bottoms here, make sure I don't accidentally shift my seam allowance, especially when I get into this curvy hip area. I wore this top today because I plan to wear this top with these pants. I don't think this yellow matches as well as I thought it did though. I'm already thinking about trying them on later. Yes, Ray, it does. So if you are using a different bobbin thread color because your top stitching thread is one and your bobbin doesn't quite match your top stitching thread, it is something to think about. Ooh, that seam allowance was a little wide right here. Get back on track, Jeremy, come on. So is anyone doing anything for Me Made May? I honestly completely forgot about it. I am terrible. But like I thought about it a few months ago and I was like, we should plan something, and I don't know. I think it's an awesome, month-long thing. But I think because it's my birthday month every year, I'm always like focused on other things. Look at all that thread right there. Oh, that's when I did my bar tack. Okay, that's why. This bar tack over here looks a lot nicer. This one has a little bit of thread vomit. So we can clean up a little bit of it. I don't want to lose any of the stitches. I just want these little thread tails to go away. So I think I wasn't even going to do anything, and then I realized, you know what? No, it's a kind of a cool thing, and I think her challenge did a lot for the sewing community. I think some folks feel a lot of pressure by it, that they have to wear something every day that they made, but you don't. That's not her challenge. Oh, that's true. Actually, Malin is perfectly correct. You can do it the other way around. I showed you from the inside of the garment, Mrs. Necro, but a lot of times flat felling is done on the right side of the garment. I'm sorry. Thank you, Malin, for saying that. Yeah. You guys are actually making stuff to wear. Yeah, flat felling is a way to stitch it completely from the right side as well. So then you just do the opposite. You put your garment seam, wrong sides together, and then you're hemming on the right side of the fabric. So it would be like this. So you would sew your seam together. Sometimes patterns will design it to be flat felled, like on the Fairfield button-up. So the seam allowances are different front to back, and you have to be careful about that. So then you need to make sure you're flat felling the correct way and putting the seam line on the right spot. But if it's not like that and you have your seam allowance, you're going to sew it wrong sides together, trim one seam, and then, because this one's now the short little seam right here, then you hem this one over and you top stitch it like that. Oh, flat felled foot. What? Now, if I had a flat felled foot, that sounds pretty fun. Yeah, and so the original pledge for Me Made May wasn't to wear something you made every day. And the person who created it is the Sozo blog, S-O-Z-O. So Sozo is the originator, which I think a lot of people have forgotten. I had to figure it out myself, who created it. So I think what I decided is I am going to share a lot of outfits, and this will be the first time I ever have. And but I'm going to do it from the standpoint of, hey, we have a video for this project, so if you're looking for it, to help others sew us out, you know, give them options to get through their projects. I like that Sew Over 50 did a challenge roundup as their first post. There are a lot of challenges this month. But I was looking at there's a Sew Maxi for Mother's Day challenge. There's a, what's the one about the butt? That one, I thought, oh, I'm going to do it for my Dawn jeans. Yeah, like some people do that. Like Malin, you're going to go do some culling. Yeah, I saw your post too. That outfit's really cute, Malin. Which jacket was that again? It's really cute. And I really like your floral top, the Gilbert. It has a belt. Oh, cool. All right, so we're going to now overlock these edges. I need to drink more. Water, that is. I totally flinched when my industrial machine made that noise. When you have your finger close to the knife of your serger and you hear a noise like that, you flinch. So today I'll probably unbox my serger after the stream, and I'm so curious to. So let's note the loudness of this one and see if the new one is different. So you guys got to remember this. I guess we could always replay a video. No, stop that. Stop. Why are you doing that? Why? It's pulling up the little threadier bits into the seam. I really think it's the knife. Because the stitch is really nice, you know? The serging stitch on this machine is beautiful. Oh, Tello jacket. That's it. Oh, yeah, Sherbet. Yeah. There's, yeah, the UFO challenge. It's like, it's pretty funny. Yeah, like, what's it called? Oh, and then did you see the tits up, bottom up one? That's the one where you go to sew something and it just is not happening. It is just, it's like, I think in America we'd say that project went south, or it's just like done. And in the UK they say it went tits up. So, there's that challenge, and then you make it into something else to kind of recover it. I love that idea. Yeah, I did the unboxing of the cover stitch the other day, and I'll pull it out while I'm doing the serger so you guys can see a little bit more of a demo of it. There's a no buy for 60 days challenge. Oh, I'm trying to remember them all. There were quite a few. It's in the Sew Over 50 post today. It's good. You squared the bottom corners. Yeah. It's cute. I like that it's red. I love that it's red. Okay, we're going to press these seams towards the back, and then we're just going to top stitch them to the bottom of the pocket right here. That's the traditional place. I've gone all the way down several times. Yeah, it gets a little tight, but you can do it. You're just doing a little few inches at a time, you know? And maybe I will. I love top stitching, so let's just do it. And we'll just go all the way down. It'll look nice. And it keeps your seam allowances pressed one way, which is great for ironing too, right? That pin is poking me. Stop it. Ow. So let's see. Let's get this a little bit better arranged. Oh, all butts welcome. That's it. Thank you. That'll be great. Yeah, Allison, that nobody doesn't work for me either. Because it's my birthday month, and I'm going to go fabric shopping, and I haven't been in months. So I don't think I've bought fabric except... No, I think I bought everything in November. Pretty sure. I could say that, and I've bought like 6 things since then. I just did the way whack order. I just bought a serger and a cover stitch. I think that challenge is pretty much toast for me. So yeah, if you want to go all the way down the leg, just remember, you know, you're only doing for a few inches. Your opening here is big enough. It's just kind of awkward. You don't want to run out of thread here. Like bobbin thread. It's more annoying than anything else because you just really want more space and you're like, why can't I have it? Also, you got to kind of worry about oil sometimes. I don't sew enough on this machine now. A little bit of oil accumulates. It's kind of arranging it, trying to. Now you could have done one of these legs before you had sewn the other side, and so you could make it easy on one of your legs, I think, for a bit, but not really. Once you get down here in the leg, it doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't think that matters at all, to be honest. It's not a skirt. What am I thinking? I get a little fatigued in my arms doing this, and my arms are really strong from sewing. I have this much left. I'm almost there. Hopefully it's straight. There we go. Yay! Oh shoot, I'm hitting the back tack. Alright, now you gotta get out. Alright, and let's put a back tack, or a fake back tack in my case, right down here. The bottom of the pocket, right there. Don't get caught on the feed dogs threads. That's not allowed. Okay, I kind of made it a little wider so it was an obvious little back tack right there. I felt something get caught on my, oh there it is. This got caught on my feed dogs. We'll just leave that. Let's get rid of these white back stitch threads. And then now let's do the other one. Yeah, so supposedly our chicken coop gets moved on Tuesday from our old house. And I'm kind of seriously thinking about getting them. And being one of those people that lets their chickens roam everywhere. Like, I've always let my chickens roam. But, like, we had an acre. They always went to bed. Acre was no big deal. The whole land was clear. You could see everywhere. Sometimes they'd disappear and you'd be like, where are they? And they'd all be in, like, one bush, you know, which was really funny. But on this property, it's huge. And huge for us. And it's kind of overgrown along the sides. But they're really good at keeping rattlesnakes away because they're always constantly turning the earth. I just don't want to attract predators, you know? And we already have a lot of predators, so like there's a fox constantly there. Yeah. So anything for your bottom half? I like that. Oh, yeah, it's for the sew any butts. Yes, exactly. All butts welcome. Yeah, because someone was like, ooh, I need bathing suit bottoms. Bibliotecaria, yeah. Yeah, right. Welcome, by the way. Hello, hello. I know. What's that UFO challenge called? It's got kind of a funny name. It's like, no UFOs allowed or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. I think Walter would be proud of the naming of that challenge. But I still think that the tits up one's pretty funny too. Because I was kind of like, what's this? What do you got going on here? What's this one? And then I read what it was about. I was like, oh, okay. I have a dress in my bin that is like that I just was rushed way too fast, kind of threw together. And it's this linen knit. You guys ever seen linen knit? It's kind of hard to find. It's so special when you do, but it grows like nobody's business. Yeah, exactly, Elizabeth. I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's a worry. I can't imagine I'll feel confident enough to actually let them roam everywhere. I used to have a movable pin that was really amazing, but it never made it over here. So I'd have to make it again, you know? All right, let's do our little back tack here. I mean, our fake bar tack. There we go. Oh, say no to UFOs. Exactly. I keep tucking my hair behind my ear because my glasses are hurting. That's why. And then I pull it out because it bugs me, and then I tuck it back in again. All right, let's do the waistband. We have our long threads here because I'm going to secure those a little better since that's a high abrasion area. Maybe get them in there. What is this thread here? Oh, that's that one I wanted to pull into the fly. All right. Looking good. All right, so we want these right side out to do our waistband. So we're going to start from the inside first. Yeah, it's the no whips allowed. Exactly, Elizabeth. You don't name them. Oh. Yeah, definitely been there. I actually had more problems with neighbor dogs than any other predator. And I was getting pretty dang salty about it. Okay. We need this mess here and our belt loops and that. And we'll need the ribbon too, if we're doing that. Oh, I need to change thread for that. Uh-oh, Allison. When I was at my friend's yesterday, I dropped some boxes off at my friend who's moving, and she had a bunch of fabric, bindings, pipings, like a lot. And I said, hey, I'm interested in that. And so I came over, got to shop it. And she had one whole cut out dress. And it was so hard not to take it and sew it. I was like, that is not your UFO. That is not your UFO. You don't have to finish that. All cut out, ready to go. Cute dress, kind of from the 80s, but it would be perfect right now. All right, I'm just going to put my interfacing on here, but I'm wondering if I have it flipped. So I'm just kind of laying it on here. All right, it looks pretty good. I am kind of tempted to interface both of my waistbands. I might regret it. I really like a stable, non-stretch waistband. That is just a personal preference on how you like your jeans to wear during the day. If you like them to be a little stretchy, you can put it on the bias. And if you like it, you know, non-stretch, I would just check your fabric. Even though it's non-stretch denim, it definitely has more stretch. Just make sure you're stretching the same number of inches so you can tell and then see. All right, so we're gonna iron these on. An unfinished object, something you haven't gotten to, Mrs. Necro. Yeah, and see, we haven't had, I've never wanted roosters, but I'm kind of thinking about doing that too. The other thing that keeps away rattlesnakes even better is guinea hens. Has anyone had guinea hens? They're bigger too. I might consider that because I don't, and maybe just a few chickens, as long as they can all get together, like hang out. Yeah, and I used to raise meat chickens too. But someone does that locally. I don't really need to do that. 35 knitting, you have those. It's monstrous. You have startitis. Isn't that what they call that? Startitis, where you like to start projects a lot. I think I did it on the cross screen, Libby. Oh wait, no, I did it on the. Yeah. The pattern is marked to be for the length grain, and I think I did it on the cross screen to save fabric because the stretch felt the same both ways. There's no purpose for that, I just like it. Before you ask. It's just nice and satisfying to set my iron on its own little pedestal. I got it actually for when I'm at this person's sewing studio and I want to iron at my little workstation. They're meaner. A million knitting of a Chinese. I thought you were gonna say they're meaner. So because I didn't iron my denim here before I cut it out, I have a feeling by ironing it now, well, if I iron it pretty high heat, it might shrink a tiny bit, but really it's gonna get bigger because there's wrinkles in it. We'll just have to deal with that the best we can. The only reason I didn't iron my denim first because I don't plan on ironing it when I'm wearing them out of the laundry. That's all. Startitis, yes. And they eat ticks. That's the other thing, Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. I need to reply to your email. Yeah, me too, Barbara. I think that because of the curve. Yeah, I was a obnoxious knitter where I only had 3 whips at one time and I finished everything. No one ever wants to talk about that. No one ever wants to hear that. But for me, that is my anxiety, personally. I can't have unfinished projects. So people would get kind of like annoyed with me for not having a bunch of unfinished things. And I just didn't know really what to say. It really does stress me out having unfinished projects. Sometimes the weekend swells up in front of me and I think about all the things I can do and I get really stressed. So I've learned to manage that and my expectations. You know? All right, I like knitting, I like ironing from the right side. I don't like touching the interfacing with my iron though. I do try and avoid that, but there is a little bit of a buffer because of the thickness of the fabric. But I don't like doing it from the interfacing side. I feel like either my iron just, I don't know, it just grabs it. It just doesn't go well. I know you're not supposed to do it from this side, but I do. Sewing is a lot faster. Knitting is more forgiving. If things go bad in knitting, you can just turn it right back into yarn and no one will ever know, you know? All right, so for these belt loops, I wanted to see how much seam allowance I thought I had here. I think I'm gonna do it like this with overlocking on the back side. I don't like doing it that way, but I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna overlock one long edge of my belt loop here. I forgot to cut this during the stream, the cutting stream. But I did end up cutting it afterward. That's right, Elizabeth. I am the boss of my knitting and my projects. I can do whatever I want. You know, I think part of that has shaped me is, I don't know about you guys. I think this is like a whole conversation. As a sewist, do you guys ever get handed people's sewing stuff once they've passed away, or maybe they downsize? It's kind of intense when that happens as a sewist, and I feel like there can be kind of a burden with it, because sometimes you see their unfinished projects in there, and you don't know, were they working on this when they, you know, towards the end of their life, is it 30 years old? You can't tell sometimes. But for me, I feel obliged, like I want to finish it, because I know that for me, leaving unfinished things would stress me out, you know? And so when I see that, I want to finish it, but I don't have a use for it. It's not my project. You generally don't like the fabric or whatever either, because it's like fabric from an age that it's just not as nice anymore, you know? So there's that, and then there's their supplies, and that has happened to me a lot. I have gotten a lot of sewist cherished sewing room stuff, and you know, there's always like a few things that are the same in everyone, like bra extenders or a garter. I used to get garter belt things, you know, stuff that aren't even like, yeah, it happens with knitting as well. And it's hard. I finally had to start saying no, because it kind of was a little bit of a burden. I didn't know what to do with their stuff. I felt incredibly guilty if I got rid of it and didn't finish it. And so and it happened so much, it was just too much, you know. So I think that has shaped me being a finisher as well. Yeah, right, Penny, exactly. I'm going to iron this too. Oops, sorry. There we go. I'm going to iron this, prep it. This probably isn't how she has you sew this in the instructions. I'm sorry, I didn't check. I'm just not wanting to sew this in a tube and turn it right side out, but you can totally do that, especially if you're doing your pants in a lighter weight fabric than, you know, this Cone Mills denim. I'm just going to iron it up to the line of my serger, and then fold it over and iron it again, kind of making the tube. And then I'm going to double needle top stitch it down. Maybe I need to give myself a little more space here. It's hot, hot, hot. Like, I think that if you wanted to be a kind sewist to whoever's going to inherit your stuff, I think if you put a little post-it note on your projects that just says, honey, I didn't want to finish this, don't feel obliged to. Or, hey, this one I'm really invested in. I would really love to see this finished one day, even if it's from wherever I'm eternally resting. I'm going to put post-it notes on my stuff when I'm getting close to the end of my life, if I know it. And relieve someone of the burden of feeling like they have to finish every project in my stash, which there probably won't be because of how I feel. We all have our anxieties. All right. It's kind of fussy. Kind of fussy. Kind of wish I wouldn't have ironed it first. It's so hot I can smell the synthetic fiber that might be in here. Or it's the, oh, it's the thread. That's what I'm smelling. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and if you need supplies, yeah, exactly. But the thing is, a lot of times the threads are very old or expired, and you can't use it. Or it's hooks and eyes, and I don't use those. All right, I'm going to sew. I want 2 rows. They're not going to be on the edge because I really need to catch both sides of my serging. So they're going to be kind of down the middle. These might look a little wiggly. I'm just going to tell you now. Let's get these threads in here or trim some of them off here. Okay, so far so good. I am catching the serging, but barely. Barely is kind of ideal, you know, because it kind of makes it as flat as possible. Yes, exactly, Penny. Oh, really, Sutter? I just got a bunch of vintage bias tapes. I'll have to watch out for that. What do we think? These are kind of wide. Yeah, they're okay. So now I have my belt loops. I always want to call these carriers. Yeah, I don't want to say I don't like their stuff. This was a problem when I worked at the high school mentoring the students, and I loved doing that. And a lot of them, they can't really afford to buy all the fabrics they need for the entire project because they had to put, was it 3 looks or 5 looks? I think 3 whole looks had to be able to walk down the runway by the end of the semester. So 3 whole outfits, the whole thing. And some of them would do more than that. You know, I think 3 was the minimum. But coming up with all the stuff for 3 full outfits for the runway for a high school kid is kind of a lot of money, you know? So especially because their eyes are a little bit bigger than their stomach, you know, they really want some nice stuff. Maybe they want to do all formal wear, whatever. And so people would say, I have stuff for the students. And we get these boxes of stuff. And I had only 2 cabinets in the room. And I finally had to tell the director, I was like, say no. And she got mad at me. And I said, here's the deal. Kids don't want someone's grandmother's polyester 70s fabric. They really want to be able to go to the store and pick out fabric for their looks and their designs. When I put it that way, she was totally behind me because she's like, you're absolutely right. She was so about encouraging the creativity and the freedom and the expression of the teenagers and the high school students. And that's what I'd say. I'd say the thing is, that stuff might be great. It could be a great project, but it's not what's in their head for when they're designing. So if you get that, every time someone gives you that, it fills up the cabinets. And then we don't have any room for the stuff they really want, you know? So got to be careful with it. All right. You're not really helping someone out sometimes. But we would say, we'll take your supplies and things like that, you know? All right, so I'm just making sure I've got the curve along the bottom edge, and I'm just gonna sew my waistband right sides together along the short ends and the scooped curve side. Right, Ray, exactly. I don't really get that offer anymore just because I don't really know anybody. But for a while there, it was kind of a often. All right, so, oh, you know, I'm going to put the ribbon on later. I kind of want to position it, you know. I'm looking for my seam allowance because my interfacing is kind of poking above the top edge there. This is one area, and I'm not the best at this, but you kind of want to make sure that you are very consistent with your seam allowance because it's such a narrow piece that it can look a little wiggly, you know? So do your best to try and sew this accurately. You'll be happier later with it. This is, because these both are interfaced, it does make it easier to sew. Okay, back at the, oh, see, I got my seam allowance off there. Pivot. Where was that spot? It was like right here. I feel like I can be like right here. That's where I want to be, right there. I'm just reinforcing my corners now because I kind of mucked that up a little. All right, this looks uneven, but it's just my interfacing. All right. Oh, see, that's great, Ray. Yeah. This doesn't look like a right angle right here. Is it? Let's see. It's not really. I'm going to just bring this in a little tiny bit. This is something I'm kind of working on getting better at, my waistbands. So I'm going to trim around and just get rid of this excess. I don't know if I find clipping the corners isn't enough. I get rid of a lot. Because when you think about this turning right side out, all this fabric, this is, you look at where it's going. This is what's all going inside your waistband. So if you get rid of a bunch of it, it has a better chance of not bumping into each other when it turns to the inside. Because see, even that far away, see, there's just still this, that's a little bit of less of a overlap of fabric there. That's why I do that kind of swoopy one. Just something I've kind of lately been doing a lot. Oh, really, Melinda? What do you, I thought you were making these. What are you making? Oh yeah, pre-printed. Now I feel like there's a lot of minky and fleecy stuff in people's stashes. Oh shoot, that's what I was trying to avoid. Pulling out a thread. Trying to get my corner. That is, if you can believe it, a little thread. So let's see. That's not too bad. There's some really good tips for doing this. Obviously not doing them. Turn your corners. I could still feel a little bit of a knot in there, even though I cut all that fabric away. Trying to flatten it out in there a little better. So when we top stitch it, when I come around the corner, my presser foot doesn't get hung up on that little bump and go crooked. I bet that's going to happen anyway. The turn seam to lay it really flat. You mean right here? I mean, I think when you cut away that much in there, it really helps not have anything to butt up against it. Yeah, and then the hammer, they all encouraged me to get a hammer out last time. What were we sewing, you guys? And that does really help. I'm kind of surprised, you know, how it really does flatten out your sewing. Hey, Melanie, welcome. How's it going? You're kind of coming at the tail end of the project, but it is kind of, you'll get to see the reveal maybe if you're here. I've been making the Dawn jeans. And so far, we have the button fly on. I don't have the buttons yet. And then pockets with pocket stays. I did some fun stitching on the back. And then I'm just now working on the waistband. So we're about to do that. Getting close. Hi, Kathleen. How's it going? Oh, I just saw that one. That's cute. Oh, the whole straight portion too. I'm going to iron this. So let's do that right now. I'll show you. And then we're ready to go. Mustard, mayo, chickens. Yep, exactly. All right, so one thing when I iron this kind of seam, I press it one way. It doesn't matter which way, does not matter at all. Kind of like a French seam. So I press this really flat. And then that way when I go to turn it to the right side, it's more apt to turn right on that seam there. And remember, mine's interfaced on both pieces, so it is a little thicker. And remember, I didn't iron my denim first, so it was a little wrinkly first too. So now when I do this, it just wants to naturally fold on this a little nicer, and I don't have that kind of extra fabric not flattening out in there. So that's one of the things I like to do. Just kind of make sure you get it right on the end. Folded it right there. I'm always torn with trimming the seam allowance in there as well, like trimming it down on some waistbands. But see, like this one, when we fold up this seam allowance over here, it's going to meet in the middle. That's kind of nice when it's filled up completely. Then you don't have that like little ridge showing where your seam allowance is here and here, you know, and then it kind of dips below. That is kind of nice. All right, so let's see here. I don't feel like my waistband is that great of a right angle there. Look at that. That's there. Okay, come on. Maybe I'll beat it into submission when I top stitch it down. We'll see. Oh, nice, Melanie. What do you like to sew? Don't listen to Ray. We've talked about guinea chickens. They wanted to call my colorway mustard and mayo, and I'm resisting because I don't like those. Kind of like a collar, yeah. Oh, yeah, and I think Malin has some good tips there. Oh, yeah, tweezers. I recently just misplaced my tweezers. I don't ever lose anything. Yeah, the clapper is a really interesting tool, and it's really great because it kind of keeps the heat in there, which gives it time to set better. It's great in like coat making and doing like big wool stuff. So, all right, so now I have this waistband. You can't tell which is which side yet. We're gonna try and find my notches and see if I can tell. Pretty sure. Let's see here. And didn't I say I may have had some sort of length issue? Okay, let's see. Is this the one that goes to this side? No, it's this one. I don't see my notches, so there's the center back seam. Okay, I think, well, wait a minute. Why isn't this fitting now? I didn't use the original waistband, right? I used my actual pattern piece. What the heck? This sewed, every time I did my prototype, this sewed perfectly. What the heck? Wait a minute. I have my stay stitch in there. Are we recutting the waistband? I'll be pretty bummed if I have to recut it. I've never had that happen. Oh my goodnesses. Let's go to the pattern table for a second. Things just got spicy. Oh, I don't know. The tagging doesn't work on mobile Sutter. I just don't ever see it work for me either. Okay, that's a problem. Let me move the microphone over there. I got my serger over there waiting for you guys. Okay, I'm carrying way too much here. Oh boy. I shouldn't grab onto that. I really need to come up with a better way to move my microphone. Mouse. And let's move the camera. Yeah, sorry for getting a little nauseous. I don't know, Barbara. We sewed this how many times? I've made 5 prototypes. I don't know. I actually expected it to be too big because I ironed the denim at the last second. Here it is. Don't panic. It didn't work either way, Malin. Right, Terry? I know. We all saw me do it. Yeah, it's like, it's not the same, well, I have seam allowance in there, right? I don't know. I don't know what to think. That's really funny. Always I put this on. I always put the waistband on. I did everything. I could, but I kind of just want to fix this. I probably will go look at them. I have one on order. It was really hard to find, and I have a Bluetooth microphone, but it started failing early on when I started streaming, so I kind of abandoned it. And then I moved to the Yeti, which I like the sound quality of, except it's not consistent because I'm always moving it around. All right, so let's see here. Perfect. Not so perfect. Wait, where's the center seam? Where's the center seam? What the? Maybe I lost it. Did I lose it? But finding a wireless microphone that goes with live streaming, using an encoder and a PC is harder than you think. What the heck? Why are these all of a sudden so much different? I'm honestly perplexed. Yeah, I just did. I literally made 5 of these. Yes, I did. I even put the extension in. Are these gonna fit me now? After all of that, after perfecting the fit. Hi, Bernadette. I probably can. But do I want to? You know? Oh, I don't want this. I want the yoke. Where's my yoke? Yoke. And pant. And pocket. I cut so many of these out. I did not take in the waistband. In fact, oh, I did take it in a little bit. You're right. I did, but it's still sewed to it. And I flared it right here. Remember, I drew it in there. I kind of straightened it out and took away some of that curve. I mean, maybe that's it. That's kind of interesting, though, because I needed to take that out. Well, I have plenty of fabric, right? So, oh, we need our extension, which is, this is only a 1/4 inch seam too. And I was using 5/8 right there. So it kind of gets tucked back. Wait. I'm too hungry to have an issue. Here we go. There's my side seam. Just back here. Yeah, that's that piece right there. And then, here's the back. Here's my yoke. Yeah. But yeah, I think I need to take this out right here, which worked before. Well, shiver me timbers. I'm too hungry to argue. But this will bug me, and I'll go get all of my little prototypes out of the bin and check them. It doesn't matter, Bernadette, because it didn't work either way. I did try that. Luckily, we're just talking about the waistband, and I have fabric. Look at that. That's way over here. I'm so suspicious now. Wait, where'd that little pocket piece? Oh, here it is. Here it is. And then my extension. Well, let's see if this will work on here if I just cut it out again. Oh, it's curved. So, no, it's pretty obvious. See, here's a gentle curve going like this. So I do have the longer edge to it. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna still check it at that line there. Like right about, let's see, I'm gonna pretend like I have 5/8 inch seam there. Okay. That almost works. Let's see. It's a little longer. What if I line up that seam allowance there? Seam line, I mean notch. I'm getting punchy now. I just don't get it, since I was cutting these exact pieces for all my prototypes, unless the interfacing really did shrink it. Look at that. That notch is right here and my center back is right there. Yeah, I do. I have everything. It's under the table. I put it in the fabric bin. I feel like my pants just got really big. Look at that. I don't get it. Let's see here. Which one? Okay, wait. I think this one might be one of the last ones that I sewed. Pretty sure. Oh, they're so cute. I mean, yeah, that's about right. Let's see here. Oops. Hold that together there. Yeah, they do look a little bigger. You know what? It could be because I'm ironing. Yeah, this time, no, not stretchy. I think it's because I've been ironing a little bit. Allison. Yeah, you can put it on backwards for show. I'm wondering if it's because I've been ironing and now my pants are bigger and maybe I should ease them in, you know? Maybe I should ease it into the waistband. But I've ironed this. But I interfaced it. Melanie, no. Too close. Too close. All I need is a waistband and hardware. I even have the buttonholes in here. We are Gucci right now. Let's see here. I'm trying to decide, do I want to try and ease in the waistband and pull off kind of a sewing minor miracle? Or do I want to cut a new waistband? I even have a stay stitch in the waist seam. Like, yo, I did the work. I don't even usually do that, you know? You guys are enjoying right now. I'd rather have lunch. Could I ease in 4 inches? That seems like a big difference from ironing. Yeah, I'm not sure. Sewing stress snacks. I think I'm just gonna cut out a bigger waistband. Let me try them on really quick. Code red. Let me try them on really quick. You guys entertain people. Let me make sure I'm way far away from cameras. That'll tell me a lot, right? Well, they fit good. They fit really good. They are a little, you know, I could probably bring them in at the waist. Yeah, they do feel like they flared out a little bit. My camisole is making this ridge underneath. Remember we used to have that one viewer that was like, you have to try on the clothes at the end of the stream, and I was like, I'm not changing in front of the camera. I almost wanted to kick that person out. See, look, it's gotten a little bigger. Does the waistband fit me? Okay. I mean, I guess. Let's see, where would it be? It would be up higher. Right? It would be up higher right here. I have yellow pens. Okay, see you, Sharon. I mean, I could use a little bit. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new waistband, split the difference of the amount that it's off, and we're going to ease in the rest. And I'm going to ease it in all the way around, I think. I think that's all I need to do. All right. We got a plan. Okay. I even have my mustard shoes on today. That I gotta put back on. Code red, code red. We got a plan. I'm gonna recut it. I'm gonna recut it, but I'm gonna split the difference and I'm gonna try and ease it all, the rest of it in. So what we were like at the 4 inches, right? Sometimes you have a sewing mystery. Matching clogs, yeah, why the question mark? Everybody has mustard colored clogs, right? Good thing we have a lot of fabric. All right, I had to, wait, what's the, oh yeah, this is the selvage, okay. There was a little bit of an optical illusion there for a second. I really shouldn't have dallied at the beginning. I shouldn't have told stories today. I'll probably use an easing stitch, Melanie. It's gonna be fine. This is when we need like a little seam ripper with flames on it. Everything's fine. Right? So maybe what I'll do is I'll cut out the 20. And that will give me 2 of those 4 inches. You know? We can also do a smaller seam allowance. Oh, Corey, thank you. You like the sewing drama. Sewing drama. Thanks, Corey. You and Ray today, thank you. All right, Corey, thanks. Thanks for tuning in and for the donation. All right, so we got this flat. I'm not sure I have enough of the same interfacing. But I do have some. Oh, shoot. Stop that. You love the drama. Well, I think like, oh, you know what? I think I called her Beverly Baptiste. Her name's Barbara. Wait, oh my gosh, the whole Barbara Beverly thing's haunting me again. That I say your guys' name and I get them confused. But the gal from one of the hosts of the Punk Frockers podcast, I didn't even realize that was her at first because I didn't notice the name. And she suggested because I was asking on my community tab, hey, what if I sewed something without the instructions? And she's like, I recommend this one. And I looked at it, I was like, oh shoot, why did I say this? And she's like, I just finished it, so I'd love to see you sew without instructions. I was like, oh gosh, that sounds like there could be some challenges there. You know? All right, Melanie, yeah, it's getting late for you. Sleep well. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your help. All right, this is my back notch right here. This is supposedly the side seam. I'm suspicious of that though. All right. Okay, I like the center back seam. Now let's just cut the interfacing and then we'll be back on track. I don't know if I know what happened. Honestly, yeah, I don't think I have enough of this, but I decided to, because I tried on the pants and they fit me, but the waist is a little bigger now. And so I think what I'm going to do is split the difference of the amount that it's off, and I'm going to ease some of it in. Because I don't really want my waistband to be as big as my waist seam of my pants is right now, you know? So I'm going to kind of pull it in a little bit. Kind of like you do on a sleeve. We want 2 of these. This is very awkward. I've kind of set myself up to struggle here for cutting this, didn't I? No. Stay there. Now you're really getting messy. All right. We might not be able to do the serger unboxing. Well, it's 1:30. We got this. I know, Penny, right? That's how I feel too. I'm like, but you know, that is kind of a risk you take when you're not using the actual fabric, right? You never know how it can react. But I think I must have done something there. Oh shoot, did I not cut my, well, darn it. Darn it. I have a little cutaway here. Maybe I can do this. Can I get it in if I do that? Yeah, maybe. Ooh, barely. Eek. Almost, and that's good. Fusing before cutting the, ooh. Wait, I already cut the band. Not a waste. Right, Sutter? I think that's smart. Okay, let's see here. Cut this. I had already cut these out before I fused. Do you think it's going to happen again? I'm nervous now. I'm not that nervous. Let's check my waistband right now. Where's my one that I made? So I have witnesses. Look, it's definitely bigger. You see that? You can barely see that, but This has seam allowance on this end, but it is this much bigger. Why is the camera quality so bad? Because we're not a gaming stream with tons of money. That's why. Oh, Billy Dopely. This does not look like a right angle right here. Let's check it out. It's a little wider right there. Oh yeah. There we go. Okay. Oh, let's try this again. Oh, really, Ray? I don't do that. You do so witness. Sometimes I've done that. You know? All right, let me switch everything around. I'm looking forward to my wireless microphone. It arrives Tuesday. Took me a while to find it. And I'm still not even 100% sure that it is going to work. Yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do. Do a smaller seam allowance. Where's the mouse? There we go. Okay, here we go again. Now, I gave myself almost the amount that I was off. So even if I do lose a little here, which I don't see how I would. Where's my other waistband? Because there is wrinkles in my fabric. So maybe I should have ironed the fabric first. But the fusible interfacing also brings in a little. Okay. I'm confident. I'm really glad I'm not a contestant on the Dawn jeans are right, you know. I don't think I cut this out very nicely. Can you guys see that? You'd think I'd set myself up for guaranteed success at this point. But now I'm just eager to see if I fixed it. We like our sewing drama. I gotta see something really quick. Oh, okay. That does work. I saw this really funny subtitle pop up on one of my things. I was like, gosh, you know, I wish the subtitles were a little better. But they're pretty good. I just was like, what was I talking about if that was on the screen? Because I had it muted, and then I went and listened to it. I was like, oh, it just misheard me. See, so the interfacing and the waistband are staying the same. See, so it's not changing. I feel like that's a good sign. Oh my gosh, I cut these so badly. Right, Biblioteca? If you ever caught any of my earlier streams, I usually, even now, I hardly ever use fusibles. I was kind of shamed out of using them at one point by one of the places I worked. And I saw their point because they were really into natural fibers and they didn't want to glue their fabric. I don't really like this stuff because it's like cellulite, you know? But it's what I have right now. It is also a little thicker. That stuff that Needle Sharp sends is so nice. And they have that at Hearts, and I keep meaning to buy it, but every time I'm shopping, it's out. I can't remember what it's called. It's on the. I should look at the Needle Sharp little insert and make sure I get the same stuff. If I'm gonna use a fusible, it's nice. All right. Everyone, take a shot. Let's do this. What is a prick stitch? Is that a basting stitch? We don't know, Ursula. I really don't know. I wish I did. Where's my mouse? Don't you hate it when you can't find your mouse? There we go. Oh yeah, the historical thing for sure. You wouldn't use fusible at all. Freezer paper when cutting a small. Shape Flex. Yeah, I can't remember what the stuff was that she sent. What it was called. Sheer Fuse or something like that. The other stuff I really like is that woven. It's like fabric that's fusible. Yeah, oh yeah, Sutter. Absolutely. In fact, I have a whole bin of it. It's a hand stitch. Okay, that's what I thought. Oh, right, yeah. No, I don't usually do that. All right, I'm going to do a little bit smaller seam allowance. I'm probably going to end up with way too much waistband. And I don't want that, honestly. I don't want it to be quite too big. Let's actually lay it on here right now and see where we're at. I would like to ease a little bit. It's this edge here. All right. So if we hang this off at 5/8 at this end, what does that give us to work with? I'm gonna just walk it around. Oh yeah, so that fits perfectly. So I think I'm going to do a little bigger seam allowance and ease a little bit because I think that would be a good thing to do. So let's get rid of some of this. I just forgot which was the top and which was the bottom. Oh, okay. That's the correct way, all right. All right, let's do this. This is the real time stamp for the waistband. Oh, it's the Shape Flexes? Okay. I was dragging a little bit. Did you see that? I think it's the interfacing, which I'm not a fan of. This is why I don't like these. I've had this bolt for a while. It's taken me a while to get through it. That other stuff it like becomes one with the fabric. Yeah, I can see this is kind of creeping. Stop creeping. It's definitely creeping. Look at that. All right, so I'm gonna trim a little bit of this off. So let's turn like right here. Oh. Now I might be start cussing, Terry. Does that make you proud? I cuss really badly. It's why I don't cuss at all on camera. because I cuss really badly in real life. I feel like it'd be a floodgate. You know? Little Pandora's box that I wouldn't be able to shut. That was the sewing fairy telling me, your waistbands are getting a little bit off. There we go. My bobbin, sometimes when I load up my bobbin winder, it will loop around the little thing that pushes it forward. I was out of bobbin. I have, on the industrial, there's a winder, and so I usually have 2 bobbins of every color, unless it's like a color I hardly use. But then I will, let's back it up to here. I can have one winding while the other is being used. It doesn't take as long to fill it up or anything. Like, it'll be full in like a few seconds. It goes pretty quick. Not the prettiest waistband. There you go, Elizabeth. That's it. Let it rip. Terry's like, I'm here for it. You're truly brilliant then. Oh man, me too. All right. Got a little better corner that time in this one. Let's see how we do in this one. I think this interfacing is a little stiffer, so it kind of made it easier to pull out the corner, but it is thicker. All right, let's iron it. We will prevail. Oh, that's right, Karen. I have heard of that. Thank you, and hello. Yeah, if I could show you, I could probably actually show you the bobbin winder. Let's see. Oof. So see right here, this is the bobbin, and then this spool of thread goes down to here. These are tension discs, and it comes around. And then this is the engaged. So on the top of your machine, you usually slide your bobbin over. That's how I do it. And sometimes I get it looped around this little tiny arm right here, and then it won't go. So that's what I was working on. And then, yeah, it goes pretty quickly. In some factories, they give them pre-filled bobbins, but the quality, that's usually a very budget thing to do. It's not as good a thread. You can buy them like that. I bet Waywax sells pre-filled bobbins. It's great for budget sewing, and then they're made out of paper, and then they just collapse when they're empty. It's pretty incredible. Someone designed a disposable bobbin that works, you know? Like, it's a pretty amazing achievement, but it's pretty wasteful as well. They're not cheaper in some ways. It just depends. Like, what's less labor? What costs you more, the labor and the person stopping to change their bobbin, or the thread, or maybe you're making basically garments that are, you know, not long for the world, so your quality isn't great. You know, it just depends. When you're getting into really budget sewing, the labor is pretty low, unfortunately. I need more water in my iron. So now I'm just getting this pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect right now. learned to speak. Are you sure they taught you how? We're all so smart here. Okay, so the maybe you've only interfaced your outer waistband so that it's very obvious to tell which one is your inner waistband. Let's see if I can tell which one is my left and my right waistband here. That matches up. How about the center back seam? Not really. This better match. I'm checking. If it doesn't, I may have to stop. We're gonna ease a little bit, so don't pull too tight. I think we're gonna be fine. Look at that. Okay. All right. There is usually a left and right to your waistband. So we're gonna start on the inside. I find this to be a lot easier for guaranteeing how it looks and catching and making sure you catch the inside. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Let me get rid of all this extra thread here, because I have the 2 threads in my needle for top stitching. It makes these little thread vomit places even worse. If I was holding these tails, this wouldn't happen, but I forget to do that sometimes. So these are like the tails of my starting that suck back in. I like it to look nicer. As long as I can get it all into the seam allowance, I'm happy. There we go. See that? That looks better already. One strand at a time. I can't grab it. I can't grab it. There we go. Oh, you know what I was going to tell you guys? I really wish I could have talked to you guys yesterday, because when I got here to work, in fact, I'm going to show you guys. Hanging with the Smarties here. Okay, let me see. All right, you see this? This is a stairwell, okay? It's a double stairwell, right? There's this little tiny area back here. This is it right here. This is the stairwell, okay? There's a sign on this side. That's back there. That's the sign. Here's the mailbox. Little tiny area, okay? 2 deer were under there when I got here to work yesterday. And man, did we scare each other. I was like, wow, that sounds like a really big bird under there, or a squirrel. And then as I got closer, I was like, oh, hi. I was carrying so much stuff. I was like, okay, I can't even set this stuff down and back away. And I needed to go up the stairs. And so one went straight down the hall into the complex, and one went on my other side. And then I was in between. Oh my gosh. What were they doing under there? They were crammed under there. One of them was like, had its hoofs up on this little rock too, and it was smashed up against the stairs, and they were nibbling on stuff. I was like, okay, you guys, come on, you know? All right, so I'm going to start on the inside of my waistband, and I'm going to open up this seam here. Not the seam, but just the waistband, the short ends here. And I'm gonna line up this edge to that seam right there, the short end, okay? And then we're gonna start sewing at your seam allowance. Nancy, aw. Nancy, that's nice of you. Thanks. Is that to, you know, keep me going here? You guys are so generous. The only thing I don't like about the easing thing is that I kind of wish I was doing this from the other side, and I didn't add a stitch, and yeah, that's kind of my main thing. Should we do that? Maybe we should add a little stitch. I could use this one here, except that it's double. Let's see if we can use this. Let's see if it'll work. Oh God, I don't know. I guess it's bare dirt under there. I don't know what they were thinking. All right, I think I just need to, let's see, can I use this center back seam? I wish I'm impatient right now, and I apologize. I'm kind of impatient because now I'm like, all right, I want to keep going on this. I want to get this done. And it's a combo of, I don't want you guys to be like, ugh, you know? And I'm curious if I fixed it or not. So let's see. If I use this original notch, am I good? No, I can actually move this over a little bit. Let me at least get myself a halfway point to shoot for. And so then when I get a little in a hurry, I don't get as accurate. There's barely anything to ease in. I'm disappointed. I want a little more to ease in, you know? I'm just going to keep this bottom layer a little slack and kind of, I'm putting my hand underneath right here like this, and I'm kind of holding it up. That's not like the most accurate way to ease, but it does work really well as long as you don't get any tucks. And then if you really do need to ease, I would add a basting stitch and then pull a little bit, an easing stitch like you do on a sleeve cap. Get this in there. Try and keep your seam allowance nice and even. Sometimes your feed dogs kind of help you out a little bit too. I'm a finisher. I am a finisher. I also think, like, if you can, not leaving your project at a point, at a state that you don't want to go back to and fix helps. So if you have to walk away, what I think is helpful in being kind to your future self is at least get it to the point where it's like ground zero, you know? So if it means you're like, oh man, I made a big mistake, I have to rip out a lot. Put on a show you like that you don't really have to focus on a whole lot. If you drink wine, get a glass of wine, you know, put on a good podcast or something, whatever it is, and then just rip it out. And then walk away. Because then you're more interested in going back to the project and persevering. It won't feel like you lost all that time because you're like, oh, I can just carry on now. And maybe leave yourself some notes, because if you're a weekend warrior sewer and you're like, all right, I can't get to this till next weekend, make a little love note to yourself. Like, I literally have one on my desk over there that says, hello. And it says, this is what you need to do today. Because I don't want to forget it. And sometimes just writing it on a list for me makes me just do it. It's just so much easier to not have to come up with the things that I need to do, you know? And so that is sometimes what I do when I have an issue. I will just, okay, it's time to call it a day, but let's at least get it to the point where it's ready to go. I'm going to try and ease a little bit more on and then just cut off the edge of my waistband. All right, so we're at the front of our waistband. It's not a zipper fly, so it is a little bit different in seeing how it lines up. But you really want your waist seam to line up like this. All right. So let's check right now, where is it lining up at? Because it might surprise you. So we want that seam to be way down there. And that makes sense because look, I have this extra hanging off here. So that would be the 5/8 inch seam from this edge here. So let's start trying to taper down to there. The jeans are kind of falling off the table. You don't want that. You don't want it pulling against your needle, especially when you're doing this heavy duty stuff. All right, and so the other thing I want to think about is the height of my waistband. So let's check that now. if I can. You can adjust this after you sew this spot, but it is kind of nice to think about it as you're getting near it right there. Oops, that's the wrong side. I'm marking the wrong side. So now I know I want these two pins to sew on top of each other, you know? But I'm shortening my waistband a little bit too, so. Let's get the seam allowance out of the way here. All right. So now I have this extra waistband sticking out, so we're just gonna turn it inside out again and fix that. Let's see. That's always harder than it seems, though, isn't it? Because it is thick right here. Maybe, in fact, I'll trim this off. Let's make sure. Let's make sure. Trim this off. Get a little of this fabric out of it. Make sure that our waist seam is matching. And it's not. So that's good. I'm really glad I checked before I trimmed that. That did seem kind of low. We can be far more scientific about this, but like I said, I'm in that rushed mode now. You know? 200 deer. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they reproduce pretty quickly. Weren't they using, I know it was really controversial back east, contraception or something in the deer? Oh yeah, right on the patterns. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes things do happen far apart. I'm hardcore Team Walter. Love that. He sent me an email the other day. He was like, "Oi, the sleeves on this sweater." I was like, oh man, he is knitting this sweater and it is, the pattern is a struggle. It wasn't very well written, I don't think. Let's set this up a little better. And now this is off. Let's cut down my waistband. It's so much easier to sew your waistband when it's not attached, right? I'm usually pretty shy about sometimes trimming off the ends of my seam allowance just in case it doesn't fit. You know, you need to make sure. Okay, that'll work. Let's write in our waist seam here. All right, that's my stay stitch and that's my seam. Well, that looks better right there. Like right here. Yeah, I think that'll work right there. Let's do some chalk. We like chalk. You got a drop down notification for what? Oh, that's so funny. I gotta do this kind of straight up and down. Okay. Megan Nielsen deserves at least somewhat decent videos. Remember my Ash jeans videos? And that the one I sewed, I think a prototype, and we fit them on camera. And then I went to sew the jeans, and that was when I was having that weird glitch where my stream, I would go off and like I would end stream, but it wouldn't end. And so then someone said, "Hey, why does it say you're live?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "It does say I'm live." And my stream was going for 24 hours, but it was on like the end screen. So it wasn't like there's a camera live in here. And so that video, it's, if I look at it in my thing, it still says it's processing. So that's obviously never going to process, you know. All right. Oh yeah. I wanted to check my waistband height here. Like this. That looks pretty good. Good. As long as we maintain our seam allowance, we're going to be good. I feel like I made this look so hard. Sorry. You probably beat me. You're done. Okay. Where's my chalk? Okay, okay. There we go. I'm hoping. I can barely see the chalk on this mustard. Whew, okay. It's a little higher. Let's see how it looks. Oh, it's not bad. All right, let's trim this down now a little bit. This is that little bit of extra. And now we're ready to do our last stitch on the waistband. It's not. I'm sorry. I just made it really complicated. But usually what I like to do is I'm a little smoother at it. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of rushing it, and then which makes it take longer, right? So I like to do it from the inside so that then when I go to top stitch on the right side, it's the last pass and it's perfect. You know, you don't have to worry if you're catching it on the inside or not. I don't have my uh-oh. I don't have my belt loops done yet. I've done a bunch of the ginger jeans too. All right. Too much talking. Chalk and mustard. Oh, I like that. A little more. I mean, I did try and stitch mustard plants on the back. All right, so match up your notches. I like to start at the landmarks. So, you know, like the center back, the side seams, and then there's usually a belt loop notch as well. We're just going to turn it under. I'm going to do a few spots. And you want to do those landmarks so that your notches are straight across from one another. And you don't get any torquing in your waistband. Where's my notch on there? Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So let's line up that notch there. And it's nice that we've already pressed our waistband because that way it will be flat up here and you won't get any like extra bagging this way or the other way. I really need to do a waistband video. I'm going to put it, I think, right where I'm at right now, Mrs. Necro. I think I'm going to put it back here on the waistband, you know? So now once I have the landmarks, then I'll go in between. And then up here at the front, I like to open this up like this, push it up, and pull it down. Now I have back stitching here, and because of all this, these two strands of thread, it is a little bit heavy. I kind of want to lighten that a little bit, and it's just that tail, right? So we can push that in there so it doesn't sneak out the bottom right there. And then when I go to sew it, this is why when I go do my next thing, I don't start at the center front. I always start at the center back so that I don't have this on the center front of my waistband. Especially if I need to fix it. So I open this up like this, turn it under like that. I have a better way to do this on the cuff, on a cuff too. I have to think about that for a second. Which way do I do it on the cuff? All right, so get that going. And then we'll work on this a little bit better when we go to the top stitching. So just get it a little bit and make sure that you're not pulling your waistband like this or letting more slack on this side than this side. So you want everything nice and flat and firm. And once you have your landmarks pinned, it makes doing in between a lot easier. You can kind of pull it and stretch it just like this. And then it'll be ready. I probably could turn my pants inside out and it'll be a little easier for the pinning, because I'll definitely do that for the sewing. All right, so now same thing over here. You don't want any torquing. So make sure you're lining up your notches so they're right across from one another. And you can see I didn't trim my seam allowances because now they're meeting inside the waistband, which makes it nice and flat and fills it up. The other way you can, if you don't like worrying about if you're going to catch the waistband and you don't want to do it like this, you can sew the waistband to the right side and then let the inside waistband hang free and then top stitch it down. And that's why they will bind the edge of the waistband. That way you don't have to turn it under. It also is nice if you ever want to alter your jeans later on, take them in or let them out. It's a lot easier to take that seam out. You'll see that like on menswear pants, it's really interesting when you see how they're constructed, because they go straight up they sew the waistband straight up the center back, and that's so that they're really easy to alter. Have a little bit of easing through here, so putting my easing close to the center front is never a good idea. Do I ever trim things to reduce bulk? At the center front, I don't really need to reduce the bulk there. I mean, yeah, you can. Like this might be a good idea because we have the fly. But it's not going to change the bulk of where I'm stitching. So I still have to stitch right here. So it's not going to help. And so I think what I'd rather do is leave them all the same length. That way, if I don't have like bumps, I mean, I can see maybe right here. We'll trim this. We'll see how it looks. Just this little bit. And then that way, maybe it'll lay a little flatter. But see, honestly, it just kind of flares up a little bit. I think a hammer is a better idea there. What is this going on right here? Why does that not look straight? Didn't it look straight earlier? Or is that the other side? To get that nice and flat. Right there. Push it in. That little stitch, little stretch. There we go. It's a lot of fabric. See how much it has to go over right there? So sometimes leaving your waistband, letting it go just past this seam here, this edge here, a tiny bit, kind of gives you a little bit more room to work with when you're trying to pull this fabric over to the other side, no matter how you sew it on. I always like to call that the kerf, you know, the thickness of the fabric, you know, like that's what they call the width of the saw blade when they do woodworking, you know, the kerf. You need to allow for the kerf. All right, so we're almost there. Just kind of flattening out, making sure everything is flat inside, outside. I'll probably do pretty good landing on the inside waistband, but I don't really need to because it's sewn already, right? It's fine. It's a bonus if it does. This is this little stop I did when I was partway through. That is one drawback with having the 2 top stitch threads is it does create a lot of extra thread vomit. All right, so do we have enough pins in here? Yeah, I think we're okay. I don't like putting too many. So now I'm going to start at the center back. It would be nice to have my belt loops though right now. But you can always attach them at the end. Here they are. So sometimes when I'm on a roll of making like a lot of pants that have the belt loops, what I'll do is make them so that they can go into the seam up here and then long enough to where you can turn them under and top stitch them down. It's really tricky to do that because you kind of got to go a little bit and then like start, stop, move the belt loop and keep going. So you kind of need the belt loops loose. It doesn't really save you anything, but as long as you can hide that underneath, you know, looks kind of cool. A lot of folks will do ones where it's like this. They'll put them in the waistband here and they even stitch them down here, which is great because it gives it some stability. And then they just go back and then edge stitch them along the top like that. You make sure you remember to accommodate for your belt. Make your own jeans and you can't fit your own belt in there. It's kind of a bummer. All right, we're going to start at the center back here so that our start stop is not at the center front waist. I'm going to make my fold just past that stitch line. It's kind of thick. I don't really need to back stitch. I started to and I'm not going to. I need a pin cushion though. I need some space. Let's see. Oh, I forgot my label again. I always forget to do it on these waistbands because I do the inside seam first. I really miss Megan for, you know, she was always yelling at me. Don't forget your label. All right, I'm going to lessen my presser foot pressure so that it's not pushing all these layers kind of like this. I was starting to get a little blump there. And I'm going to use my awl and kind of push it a little bit. Prevent that. I could get a little closer to the edge though. Let's try and get a little closer to the edge. I feel like I'm off the waistband in the inside maybe. Get a little higher up. You guys are so quiet now. Are you nervous? I have a little, like a little, not a tuck, but there's definitely a little bit of tension there. It's almost a tuck. And as you get to each section, make sure everything's still flat and nothing's torquing. It's worth spending some time on your waistband. I know you're really excited and eager to like get finished, but it's kind of the thing that you don't really want to take apart and do again. I say this even though I've been kind of rushing it. Especially when I was going to mark all this stuff up here, I could have done a better job of that, you know, before I started sewing. All right, so let's get this arranged. Now, I sometimes like this to be a little shallower on the top because what happens is this kind of pushes off the edge. The presser foot will push it like this. That's a problem, you know? And this does feel a little fiddly. This fabric feels a little fiddly with this interfacing. I want a right angle there. I want to cover up my stitching. So let's push the seam allowance up there a little better. And then we can turn. And now the pants are going to go under the machine head, unfortunately. But you get a nice continuous stitch there at your center front waist. Ooh, that stitch is really close to the edge. Rather than having the back tack. Oh, no, no, no. You're doing so good, little spool of thread, being your second spool. It did? Nice. Oh, don't apologize for the label's not your guys' responsibility. Oh, that stitch was so close, it kind of distorted it. This is when you're really happy that you opened up this seam and pressed it and then pressed it along the edge. I'm worried about that spool thread now, so I'm kind of holding this weirdly. I don't want it to knock over. Let's get your pant nice and flat. Let's get up and close and personal. Because I feel like I'm getting a tiny bit of torquing. Maybe I'm saying it better. I think if I wasn't worried about this spool, this would be a little easier. We do this all the time, don't we? Oh, I was like, what the heck? That's the center back. I can't believe I'm already at the center back. That was fast. All right, so now you gotta watch out for your pins. They're gonna start poking you again. Get that better on the edge there. Almost to the front. Yeah, she was always on top of that. See ya, Melanie? Thanks for coming. Oh, I'm glad. I know you guys like the drama, but there's usually not as much drama. Or maybe there is. I have had the make my May schedule on my list of things to do every day this week. And guess what? It's May. All right, so this is pretty thick, just like, who is that saying that? Biblioteca. She has a good point. This is very thick at that center front, especially with the button fly. I'm used to doing zipper flies. This is only my second button fly. All right, we're gonna turn it. I want my seam allowance in there so the fold covers my stitching there. Be careful. I wish I would have left a little extra waistband hanging off so that this seam was a little bit more in the center. Maybe there's a tip for that in the instructions. Would have been good to think about before I was to this stage. All right, let's tuck that all in there. Get that seam allowance, shove it in there. Make the fold past the seam. Aw, thanks, Mrs. Necro. Okay. I have a couple of threads I want to get rid of here. These little short ones are the hard ones to hide, you know? Pull everything down. That tension looks kind of weird right there, doesn't it? I don't know if you can see that actually from your vantage point. We're almost done. Now that we have that edge stitch, funnily, that is kind of enough. I don't really need the pins as much when I have this stitched here because I'm not so worried about it kind of, you know, like over rotating to the front. And we kind of already folded it a little bit, and if we ironed it, it would even be more well behaved. find pulling it helps keep it all nice and flat and prevents that torquing that we don't like. We don't like twerking either. No judgment though. Right? You never know. You never know what's going to be drama too. Like we've had some weird things where we're like, what the heck? Why is this drama? You know? Like this waistband. I sewed this 5 times last week. I started going down that, like, you know, fitting rabbit hole. I don't know why that would have done that. And I did the 16, the 18, and the 20. Oh, wow, that's cool. Dang. All right, let's turn these right side out and see. So, you know, now we don't have that back stitch right there, which I kind of like. Yeah, I'm not the best waistband sewer, but you get the idea. You know, it's nice not having it right there because it just, I don't know, it's just kind of a ball of thread, you know, and doing your back stitch on this thickness is kind of dicey. I'm just putting it at the center back. It's pretty invisible. All right. See how it looks. Is it lining up? It doesn't look like it's lining up. It looks like it goes up right there. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna have to fix that. All right, so let's see that stitch right there. It's so tight right there, just for that little stretch. Well, you can't see. And then the inside, this is how the inside looks. So it landed on the waistband in some spots and maybe not in a few others, but it is all sewn. We're not worried about it. The more of these you sew, the better you get, and you will land on the waistband. Especially if you get good at the fabric you're always picking. Because I'm always changing fabrics, it does make it a little harder. So if you're always changing, like from jean to pair of jeans, different fabrics you're buying, it's like you can never get really good at dealing with that fabric, you know? So be nice to yourself about that kind of thing. Really, you know, start looking at the jeans you buy that are in your closet, you'll realize how nice yours are. All right, so let's put on the belt loops and the back waist. I'm waiting till the end because I have to change thread color for that. So let's see. We need 5. And we have, well, really, how long do I want these? I want them about that long. So that is 3 1/4. Oh, that sounds kind of familiar. Oh, I have plenty. Okay, good. So, oh my gosh, you never know with YouTube. What did they show me? Oh, how to fix a dowager's hump. I was like, huh. And it was actually a really fascinating video, but I was like, I don't have one of those, do I? Sometimes I wonder if YouTube knows something about me I don't, you know? And then I got this incredibly inspiring video about this 45-day transformation of this, I think she was a Chinese girl in China. It doesn't say, I couldn't tell. I couldn't see any of the language written down anywhere, like signs or anything, or I missed it. And the title was something like Transformation of Belly Fat Girl. And I was like, what a terrible title. But it was so inspiring. It was so cool to see her transformation. And it was like, I don't know, it was just really cool. I watched that. So now YouTube's like, oh, you want fitness videos? We've got you covered. I was like, okay. Now watch, you're going to start seeing fitness video ads or fitness ads. Sorry. All right, so I think we usually like this about like an inch in front of your pocket here. There is markings, I'm pretty sure, on the waistband. But they're long gone now, right? So we're going to put, one inch in front of the pocket, and I like them a little bit behind the side seam here, and then one at the center back. All right, so let's see, we want it about, it probably says in the instructions how to place these. I'm just going to do it the way I like mine. Oh, and then when you're doing your belt loop at the center back, you can choose to center it over the seam, or if you're double needle top stitching the back seam and this, maybe instead you line up your top stitching so that it looks like that, right? Rather than like this, which is a little triggering. Yeah, the 18-minute diet, right, Mrs. Negro? Oh my goodness, I get those too. My favorite is the masterclass ads. Those are my favorites. Yeah, YouTube offers rabbit holes all the time. I'm like, how am I getting all these? By searching Friday sews. It's the only thing I search on YouTube is Friday sews. And game stuff. All right, I'm going to put my... I like to do this too. With this little cut edge, I try and pull all of this stuff out. Just pull as much as you can. And then that way, this is my thread right here, not the weave. Then those little things don't unravel while you're wearing it. It's just something I've learned. So this measurement here, so I cut my carriers, belt loops, 3 1/4 inches long. And I'm putting them about, I'm lining up the raw edge about 3/4 of an inch right here. And then I'm sewing at about 1/4 of an inch, right? And then we're going to fold it up and stitch it down at the top. And if you have a machine to bar tack, you can do that. I like to do it in line with the stitching of my waistband, so it kind of looks, you know, like it's going in a straight line. Ooh, I should probably hold my tails while I do this so it's clean on the inside. And I'm going to do it at the bottom of the belt loop as well right here. I'm going to pull it up a little bit so there's a little slack. These are all just preferences. There's lots of ways to do these. Like that. So then you have a little belt loop. I like them a little longer so they kind of do this, and I didn't do that. I have a nice little arch though. I get those Noom ones too. I don't know. I watched the masterclass ones all the way through. I love those. Please keep giving me masterclass ads. I love those things. Just about here, and then we wanted about 3/4 of an inch lined up raw edge. Oh, okay. Well, then that's kind of lining up with my yoke seam, which is kind of nifty, right? Should have held my tails. Thread vomit faux show. This little lip here, my old machine was flush, more flush. I think that's just the luck of the draw. I was holding my tails and then I adjusted and I forgot to hold my tails. See, then you get thread vomit. It's not a channel. It's the masterclass is like this really interesting. Oh, I hope you start getting them now I'm talking about it. They're these, like, say you want to see Ina Garten like learn her cooking things, but the quality of the video and the way they talk and everything, and so they want you to sign up for masterclass, which is like a online learning thing with masters of what they do, writing, cooking. The one I got recently was the guy who was a negotiator with terrorists, and so he's like, you're making like 7 negotiations during your day. And I'm going to teach you how to have a better life because you're going to make better negotiations. So, oh, I haven't heard of Domestika. Nancy. You get medication as, oh my gosh. That is probably, yeah. Yeah, just look up Masterclass and you can probably even see trailers on their website. It's cool. Like people, I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were famous. Like even just famous actors and actresses on there. It's cool. I don't think I'd ever sign up, I have to admit, but I like the ads. Yeah, they've gotten really famous people. Yeah, is there really a RuPaul Masterclass? I want that ad. Dang. I feel like I'm getting shortchanged now. I'm not getting the RuPaul ad. Alright, I'm going to put this about an inch in front of, yeah, maybe 3/4 an inch in front of my pocket here. And right there. It's kind of an awkward spot. I can feel my pocket bag underneath there. I don't like the ones that are, they're trying to make it look like they just stepped out of the car and now they're filming an ad. And you're like, this is such bad quality. Oh, the Billy, yeah, I saw that ad. That looks so good. I saw that one. I didn't even know who that was. That's awesome, Deborah. Yeah. Yeah, watching ads helps. I can see 81% of my ad revenue comes from skippable ads. And because I like you guys, I don't enable the ads that put them on top of the video on either side, you know. Oh, that's true, Deborah. That's awesome. Oh, I didn't see that question. I'm so sorry, whoever asked that. You can do however many you want. I've seen some really cool things where people do like the crisscross belt loops. You can do a lot of them. You can do whatever you want. I think for me, like more is probably better in some cases because do you ever see sometimes that your pants are pulling up and you know your waistband's kind of sagging down? You're just trying to evenly distribute your belt around your waistline. You could probably do 4. It kind of means you would probably have them like right here rather than at the center back. And that actually could be kind of nice because I do find sometimes they pull like this at the center back. It's a lot of stress. Probably depends on how your body's shaped. So I would do what you want. Oh no, Nancy. Oh, thanks, Mrs. Necro. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We just have, we're really drawing this out, aren't we? We want finished pants. All right, I said 1 inch behind, right? And then 3/4 of an inch below. I got the other waistband under there. I kind of wanted to see how this one looked right here. Yes, it's kind of in the middle. Okay, that's what I was working on. All right, so 1 inch behind the seam is what I'm putting, and then 3/4 of an inch below the waist seam. There we go. I mean, you know, there'll be like one photo of these, and that's the last time you'll ever see these two belt loops at the same time, right? You know, I think I could have made my belt loops a little longer. Oh, I keep forgetting to remove my threads. I gotta do that. That makes a huge improvement to your belt loops. Especially on stretched denim. That white thread is so annoying on stretched denim. It's like that. It's like elastic thread. Yeah, right, bibliotheque. Mine too. And it's funny because whoever asked that, was that you? That's a good point. I could probably place my belt loops a little better. I haven't been wearing a belt lately because I lost them in the move for some reason. I think they're just in someone's closet. I don't know. I have 2 long sleeve shirts. I don't know why I only have 2 long sleeve shirts. But I found the one I thought Cricket accidentally had. And she didn't. It was in my running stuff, which I haven't been doing, so no wonder I hadn't seen it. Wait, I said 3/4 it into the last second, didn't I? So that's about that. So right there. Last one. Like I said, you can do bar tacks too. Let's get rid of these threads here. Make sure they're perpendicular. This one's sneaking out a little bit there. So I was thinking about for May, I've been trying to think what I want to do. I'm off a week. I don't want it to be too packed like April was because of that week off, you know, just you never know. So I think next week I'm going to sew and fit the muslin I downloaded on free sewing. And we're just going to talk a little bit about that because I've been saying that if everyone could have their own block, then we could start doing some pattern drafting streams. And so let me just start trying to get you guys geared up for making your own block. And then that way we're ready to go. You can have homework while I'm out of town for a few days. Like a few days is long enough, right? I'm just going through and getting rid of some of these extra vomity threads. Oh, is my phone doing something weird? Never mind. All right. Get rid of some of these white threads that sneak out. See, they want to sneak out. Look at all that. I'm on to you. Little threads. Bane of my existence. Making my sewing look like Becky Homecky. Sorry for anyone named Becky. Karen needs a break though, right? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Mrs. Necro. You want pants that fit? Yeah, the gap. Me too. Throw it in the trash. It wasn't that bad. It was just cutting a new waistband out. Looks pretty good though, huh? Aren't you glad you didn't throw these away? That you just got a glass of wine and cussed a little? 3.5 hours. Oh my gosh. I was hungry before I started today. All right, I have put on hardware on lots of pants before. How badly do you need to see it today? I put on rivets and tack buttons a ton. This is bugging me. Why couldn't this weird one be on this side, you know? Oh, my ribbon thingy. I had enough to do the double, and that can help a little bit, like evenly distribute it. Or even just 2 belt loops here. That might make it so that it's not so weird. Oh, cool. It gives you a wedgie still? It does sound like one he would say. Oh, where? Oh, is that on Facebook? Oh, okay. Let me get my book. All right. let's see. We're taking suggestions for menswear. And I'm running out of room on this here. Belvedere waistcoat. And Kodiak crossover zip up. Who's that by? Irresistible Bomber. Is that the name of the company? I hope not. All right, tell me who those last two are by. Let's change to navy blue thread. Bye, double threads. Hopefully I don't need you. Well, I'll just thread you again. It's no big deal. All thread theory. Okay, cool. All right, we're going to narrow the list down. And think I can pull it through. Yeah, I can probably pull it through even though there's two strands. Did you look at the Wardrobe by Me patterns, Terry? Did any of those pique your fancy? Or So Deaf? All right, so. Yeah, so I'll probably put the hardware on while I'm eating my lunch. Does the quality of my sewing look like they're going to fall apart in a year, Mrs. Necro? Elba Textile. Oh, we've got that one down. I think we got the Cornell. Yeah, Cornell shirt by Elba Textiles. Cool. I'm glad to hear it. Unless that wasn't you that said that. But these won't. Yeah. Good thing you said that. I bet your dog is irritated. I'll probably, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this on right now. And then while I'm eating, I'll probably put on my hardware. And then I'll get ready to do another stream with unboxing my serger. Because I really want to get it set up. I'm going to set it up either way. Okay, cool. Great. I'm glad you looked at both then. Just want to make sure. I don't know if I can do all of these. Plus, I don't know if I really want to buy fabric for all these things, but I'm going to run by a lot of these to my husband and have a good variety. So I think we could have quite a few. Patrons late. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Thread Theory does sell other people's. Yeah, what does the BG stand for? I've heard of them. I won't remember this if I don't write it down. You want to do their shirt and bomber jacket? Oh, really cool. Islander, is that Island Socialist? Who's Islander? That sounds so familiar. And Jolly. So far we have Victoria Jones men's shirts, Albion by Seamwork, Cornell shirt by Elba Textiles, Comox trunks, Thread Theory, North Star hoodie by Love Notions, the Levine and Gosling, both by So Def. Men's elastic is on Etsy. Oh, that was just a note. Velvedor waistcoat by Thread Theory, Kodiak crossover zip up, an irresistible bomber, summer pants by Wardrobe by Me. And I'm looking at the cargo shorts by Wardrobe by Me. Wasn't there? Oh, and then there was a cargo pocket jacket on the Wardrobe by Me site. I want to put navy blue thread. Ooh, well, let's see. Can I sew out white thread. Okay, I just want to make sure. Oh, I did switch it to navy blue. I want to try and do it so that it's invisible on the inside. Let's see, I have some, ooh. Let's try this. I just got to make sure that the bobbin thread doesn't show up, pulls up to the top. Okay, we're good. Okay. Why, yes, I do. Need you ask? I love eating takeout. I think that's the one thing about the pandemic I miss the most is getting to go food and it's still being hot. Because now it's just never as hot as it used to be. Especially because we live so far out of town now. All right, so let's see. I think what I want to do is do this all 4 sides. Ooh, it is like the size of my waistband, you guys. My goodnesses. Where do my pins keep going? Like maybe right here? Yes, I do. Now that I'm up here and not in the big city, it's not a big city, I can't be asked all the time to bring home dinner because there's just nothing really. There's a few things up here, but they're really just catering towards all the people, the like workers that are here clearing property lots and felling trees. And so it's like burger food. I'm fine with burger food, but not for every meal, you know? I'm trying to turn under these corners so that they're just nice and secure under there, but it's not essential. All right, let's do it. Right? Probably cost that much too. I've had it forever and just never used it. I had it for a specific project and fabric, and I ended up using the fabric for something else that I got really into. Ooh, it's kind of ooching off the edge there, which didn't leave enough fabric to use it for this. I kind of went through that sewing phase where, you just gild the lily all the time, I want this little corner to stay in there, gosh darn it, or I might start cussing. There we go. I need a half stitch, please. Can I get a half stitch? There we go. A little hungry. Oh, that's cool. DoorDash costs, though, yeah. I would splurge on that when my husband was out of town, like every 3rd trip. I would make sure Cricket was on a sleepover. And then I would order something and have it delivered and play video games all night. It was awesome. Now I don't have the internet for that. And I don't have delivery. Get rid of this thread here. Yeah, look at, you can't even see. It's like I glued it on crookedly. That's annoying right there, though. The ribbon is very volatile. It's okay though, huh? Gild the lily, yes. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, because there's DoorDash fee, taxes, and then the restaurant might have a fee too, right? It costs a lot. And then you tip them. Yeah. All right, so I just need to hand these and add the hardware. And so, gosh, what do you guys think about the hardware? Do you think that I should put the rivets in the usual places, like here? Oh yeah, definitely need hardware. That's gonna look good. It looks so much better in person too. The color's better. You know? So I'll put them here, maybe here, and then my tack buttons are right here. Ooh. Yep, and a tip for the driver, exactly. But man, they were so much better at getting the food to me hot than I was. I feel like they were given preferential treatment. I'm looking for any more threads I can pull out of these belt loops that I forgot. Here's another one. See that? Get rid of that stuff. It's going to come out anyway once you start washing your pants. And then it makes your pants look so messy back there. I hate it in store-bought jeans. You know what I mean, right? Now there's Liberty ribbon. Cool. Well, that went great. I mean, except for that waistband part we're never going to talk about again. The color of the hardware, I think, is the antique brass. It was in the, look at my wedding ring, just keeps sliding around. It was in the needle sharp box. I swear it looks better in person. If you can do it, I can do it. That phrase doesn't bug me. The one I don't like is the, well, it's easy for you. Or I forgot something, yeah. I don't like that. Well, it's easy for you. And that can be applied to things where maybe, like I've gotten that a bunch before. And I'm like, yeah, damn straight. It better be easy for me. I put the time in. So stop making me feel bad about it. Or when someone is thin, you know, and someone will say, well, it's easy for you. You can wear whatever you want. You know, I've seen people say that. It's like, oh. It is easier to find a pattern fit, but it's not easier, you know. It's kind of funny. Yeah, I like the antique brass too. I'm hungry. All right, I'll do the hardware, and I'll see you guys in a bit if you want to join me for the unboxing of my serger. Let's hope it goes well. And I'll give you a little cover stitch demo now that I figured out what was happening. And it's a funny thing what was happening. So thankfully, right? Thank you for joining me sewing with Dawn Jeans. I really enjoyed it. And thanks for persevering through my waistband struggle. For the tips too. Very nice of you guys. Thank you guys. I'm happy. Can't wait to wear them. They didn't feel as tight as I thought they would either, which is funny. I thought they'd feel a lot tighter. Maybe it's because of the wrinkly fabric. Practice makes better is one of my faves. Yeah, that's a good one. Find a watermelon. You love the needle craft idea? What's the needle craft idea? Wait. That's a cute watermelon. What? YouTube has cuter emoji watermelon? Oh my goodness, look at that little guy. He is so cute. Wow. The one on Instagram or on my iPhone, it looks like it tastes better. But that one's so cute. Thanks, you guys. I'm happy with them. Thank you so much. I can give you a big review. Yeah, do you think they look good with this shirt? I think it's the right color. That's just your phone emoji? Oh, YouTube translated it then. I don't know. Maybe they don't match. That looks kind of bad. I don't think that's gonna go. I think I need a new shirt. Oh, all right, I need to eat some lunch. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for everything. I'll see you soon. I gotta find my thing. Oh, there it is. Okay, bye.